All characters and events based in this podcast, even those based on real people, are entirely fictional. All celebrity voices are impersonated, poorly. The following program contains coarse language, and due to its content, it should not be listened to by anyone.
Yes, very weird that the way that the internet looked at these episodes. I was like surprised.
You were surprised
at the way that they were. Yes, I was surprised. I don't know what. I mean, we'll get there. I'll explain it. But I'm just like.
I'm curious as to what they thought.
Yeah, I'll explain.
I'm gonna need some more information.
I know. Well, we'll do it after we get to the end of each show. I don't wanna spoil it.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay, so here we are. I'm Kevin,
and I'm Rachel,
and this is Shelf Life, a podcast where a brother and sister team always are on the search for the triangle of Zinthar, and thank you, Rachel, and go through pop culture one at a time to determine whether or not the subject at hand belongs on your shelf. We do so in great minutia in walkthroughs. Sometimes we do selections. Sometimes we do weird stuff. Sometimes we just like to have a lot of fun here at Shelf Life.
Rachel, do what we want.
Yeah, damn right we do what we want. Like Eric Cartman, yes. We do whatever. I do what I want.
Exactly.
Rachel, it's been a long journey here. We are finally at the end of the road. Rachel, what is up for contention? And we will have a conclusion at the end of this long-form episode of Shelf Life. What is up for contention to the shelf today?
The last 3 episodes of the first season of South Park.
That's right. We're going to go through these last 3 episodes. We are going to rank the season at the end, and we are going to tell you whether or not season 1 has shelf life and which episodes we think have shelf life over the others.
That's right.
So for those of you that are just discovering the show or are new to volume 3 or whatever, go back. There's 4 other South Park episodes to finish off or to do the rest of season 1. So if you're like, wait, where's Pink Guy? It's in part 3 or whatever of South Park season 1. But today, on this particular episode of South Park, we are going to cover Tom's Rhinoplasty, the 11th episode of season 1, debuting on February 11th, 1998, written by Trey Parker and directed by Trey Parker, like every other episode of South Park.
Just
Rachel,
like every other episode.
What happens in Tom's Rhinoplasty?
Okay, so Mr. Garrison gets a rhinoplasty, and the kids get a substitute teacher. A hot sub.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Hot sub. Just a hot sub.
Well, to them, she's beautiful, so there you go.
That's correct. Yes. I was trying to figure out, how do you make a hot construction paper cutout? That's
sure.
like,
yeah.
like supposed to be like attractive. Yeah. So yes, that's what happens.
I mean, you gotta remember, they're how old? What, like
8? They're in 3rd grade.
Oh, 3rd grade. So they're third graders. So anything that's like, conventionally attractive, I think is gonna be fine for them. Honestly. Yeah. Every
100%.
other woman in their world is tends to be kind of silly.
You mean like the rest of the female characters
yes.
are kind of silly? So like getting Ms. Ellen is
yeah. It's a little different. It's exotic to them.
It's exotic. Yeah. So I mean, this is definitely, the boys are learning to grow up, or not learning to grow up. The boys are learning about girls, I guess, a little bit more in this episode.
Sure.
In particular, they're trying to figure out what a lesbian is.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. A lot of
that
lesbian.
Is that's definitely a part of this episode. So one of the facets of this episode is that it's the first time that someone guest starred on the show whilst having an actual role in the show, as opposed to a barking dog or a cat or something like that. And that is Ms. Ellen, Ms. Ellen is played by, according to the opening credits, that chick from Species.
From what?
Species. Rachel, you don't know Species?
I don't think I know what this is. No.
Oh my god. We'll add that to the list.
Oh boy.
It's a terrible movie where... So the chick from Species is Natasha Henstridge, is her name.
Okay.
I might have said that wrong. And it's about an alien that takes the form of a woman and tries to seduce men to impregnate herself to prolong her species.
It's almost succubus-like. Okay.
Yeah, it's not a bad little premise. It's a terrible movie that we'll cover one day because maybe it's entertaining enough to have a spot on the shelf. It might be good enough to have a spot on the shelf just for Natasha Henstridge because, yes, I understand their point. I understand kind of the joke that she's gorgeous. This woman is ridiculously attractive. So I get it. Rachel's trying to look her up now.
The click-clacking, yes, was me.
She needs to get a glimpse of these warlocks.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I know this actress. Yes.
Yeah. I don't know what else she's been in, but I know she's been in this.
She's been in something I've watched. Hold on. It can't be Species. I don't think I've watched Species.
Do you watch Species?
Oh, she's in the whole 9 yards. I probably know her from that. Oh, and the new Charmed, not the old Charmed, so probably not that.
I don't know if I know her from anything else outside of Species, but...
There's a couple weird ones in this that I'm just like, okay, maybe I've, like, just recognize her from some of this. So, yeah, I think that's fine. She's pretty.
But she was... Yeah, she's insanely pretty. And the she is! Damn it. So
correct me.
The reasoning for her being in the show was they were getting, after Mr. Hanky, a ton of good press, and people were like, oh my god, this is like the greatest show ever, and it's the hottest thing ever. So a bunch of celebrities were calling Comedy Central and telling them that their agent was telling Comedy Central, so-and-so wants to be on South Park, so-and-so wants to be on South Park. So Comedy Central was coming back and telling Matt and Trey, you guys can pick any celebrities you want. It's like The Simpsons. You can have anybody to be on this show, and it'll be, great. You can do whatever you guys want. And they were like, can we get...
Of course we're going to do whatever we want.
Yeah, and in their spirit of doing whatever they want, they were like, what about that hot chick from Species? So they said...
Well, she obviously said yes.
Yeah, and they actually gave her a part. They said she came in. On the commentary, and it's hard to tell when they're joking and when they're like being serious. They were like, yeah, she came, and they were like, she came pretty dressed down though. They were like,
what is she gonna wear? Like a freaking like tight black dress with high heels? Is that what they're expecting of her?
Well, and that's where I don't know, like, where the line, because I think sometimes they play the role.
Oh no, I do think they were just joking. I think that was an absolute joke. Yeah.
They said she was nervous to do it because she had never done voice over work before.
Sure.
Or voice performance, which makes sense. Like, why would she? She's a model / actress who's like known for being hot. You're not going to put her behind the microphone, which of course, again, is another South Park thing of like, yep, we're going to put Natasha Henstridge behind a mic. I keep saying her name weird because my tongue is like dead today. Natasha Henstridge. I didn't do my vocal exercises before we started.
Hold on. We have to back up for a
my
second.
moo 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 moo. Me, my moo 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 moo. But yes, that was the reasoning behind that. And we'll get into, there's another celebrity guest later on in the season as well, but this one was, they're kind of saying that they wanted to do that.
Right.
So yes, she's playing Ms. Ellen, and she doesn't do a bad job. It kind of, you feel kind of endeared toward Ms. Ellen in this a bit.
She's fine. She's normal.
Which is the problem.
Yep, I think that's the problem.
That's why she had to go. So let's get right into it. The episode starts in the classroom, and Wendy is telling Stan that they should go on a cruise for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, a cruise.
So she clarifies it, Rachel. She clarifies it. Because even Stan is like, I can't afford a cruise. And she's like, no, we'll make like a cardboard boat.
Which is really cute, honestly.
Yeah, it's
that part's cute
idea.
because they're kids. Yeah.
Yeah. And they'll pretend it's a cruise. And Cartman starts laughing hysterically because he's
As you
rolling
expect.
his eyes at all this because he's like, "Oh my god,
course.
you guys are like so lame."
Because Stan has himself a little
stupid
girlfriend, and
that you're trying to
gonna
come
make
up
fun
with
of
this
them
like
for it.
fake little. Principal Victoria comes in and says that Mr. Garrison needs surgery and won't be able to teach the class, and the class all celebrate this because
they celebrate. Yay!
Well, at first I couldn't tell if they think that they're just not going to have a teacher. Because the next sentence she says is like, well, don't worry, like, we have a substitute. And they're all like, oh. Because they say yay about the fact that Garrison's not going to be there.
Right.
Fine, they hate Mr. Garrison. I get it. Who doesn't?
Exactly.
But when Victoria says, okay, yeah, you're going to have a substitute, they're all kind of like, huh. Like,
Yeah,
they
they
anticipated they weren't going to have a sub.
Yeah, they expected,
What did they
like,
think was
no,
going to happen?
classes out- like, maybe they were like, yay, we get to go home. No school today. We don't have a teacher.
Okay.
When you're young,
Yeah.
you know, you're stupid. You're going to be like, oh, cool. No
Kids
teacher,
are stupid.
no school.
That's fair. I will allow it, and I will allow it because the South Park kids are little bastards, so it's something that I would assume. So she introduces Ms. Ellen, who is a pretty woman, as we have discussed, based on Natasha Henstridge.
You had to do that, 'cause I mean-
Natasha Henstridge.
Made pretty woman, walking down the street.
Yeah, they could have put it in here. The boys all woo over her. Is that the right term? They woo over her?
To woo someone, I don't think it's...
You woo
you
someone,
don't
but can
woo
you...
over. I think it's...
Yeah, what's
the
term I'm
word
thinking?
now? I know what you're thinking.
You know what I'm
I
saying. You know what I'm
do.
trying to say.
It's like swoon.
Like they're-
Are you talking about like swooning?
Swoon.
Okay,
Swoon.
It's swooning. I didn't.
To
Even, it
swoon
didn't even pop
someone.
up. It popped into my head.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yes, they're swooning over her, and they end up getting Charlie Brown face.
Yeah,
They
that was
get the-
creepy.
the smiles like
the
Charlie-
Grinch. That was a Grinch grin, like old for like the movie Grinch grin that happened. That was creepy.
I thought Charlie Brown, but it could have been a Grinch grin.
I guess
Same
it's
idea.
probably
It's
Charlie
that-
Brown, but
It's yes, it's an overly stylized line for a mouth
Right.
smile. So then she's going around. She's like, "Oh, let me learn everybody's name," and she says Stan, and Stan barfs, and Wendy gets upset with this because, as the boys kind of point out, that means that he likes her.
right.
And Wendy is upset because that's like her thing, is that she makes Stan barf. So she knows what's happening
Stan
here is
is
that
hurt.
Stan has a little crush.
Exactly.
Yeah. We then go to the plastic surgeon to Tom's rhinoplasty.
Yes, the surgery is rhinoplasty. The principal had made it sound like it was life or death.
Yes, because she says that he needs surgery. Now, it being Garrison, it's very possible that he said he needs this surgery
Yes,
to
well,
get
he-
more time off.
Oh, 100%. I mean, he told the doctor that he was embarrassed about the nose job, and so he told him that he had, what was it, herpes?
Herpes. Oh,
Herpes.
that's right. You're right. I think it
Yeah.
is Okay. So I don't know what surgery you would need to get for herpes.
I don't.
I don't want to know.
Yeah. None of it.
Is that a thing?
I don't know.
I don't think that's a thing. I'm not gonna Google that one.
I don't want to.
We'll just not know, and we'll move on.
That's fine.
So Garrison is getting a new nose.
From like a Superman looking dude. Like he's got a little curly Q at the top. He looks like
The doctor.
yeah, the
doctor has a
doctor looks
curly
like
Q?
Superman. He's got a little curly Q at the top.
The face.
And the butt chin. Yeah, he's square. He's got the little curly Q, like.
Well,
fringe
and I think
spot.
that's supposed to be because he's got all the plastic surgery done himself. So he looks like a brick that's had a bunch of plastic surgery done.
Oh sure, yeah.
But Mr. Garrison has the opportunity because it's, the future and they have this technology to be able to look into this computer and pick out a new nose, and he gets to see what his nose will look like. So a couple of them make it smaller, change the shape, but one of the options is will make him look like David Hasselhoff.
Yep. like exactly like David Hasselhoff. It's not even like it's just that's David Hasselhoff.
Yes, it is literally a picture of David Hasselhoff's face.
And at this point, you're probably assuming, oh, they're just trying to make him want this package so that he looks like David Hasselhoff, but it's not going to work.
Oh, so you don't think it was just a nose job? Rachel, would it have been funnier?
Uh-oh.
I'm actually asking this question.
Okay.
If it was like, if it was, okay, like, you do the nose bit, and then, oh, you can be a bridge, you can do this, like with Mr. Garrison's face, and then it goes to Hasselhoff's face, and that's the joke.
Mm-hmm.
Would it have been funnier if it went from Christopher Reeve's face to Madonna's face to David Hasselhoff's face? Or is it funnier just with the one celebrity face? Because, like, we're talking about how this guy wants to be Superman, so, like, he could, like, that could be a subtle thing where his...
Sure, like, one of the options is to look like Christopher Reeves. I think it might have been funnier if it was like, which celebrity do you want to look like, maybe? Mm-hmm. Like, do you want this one's nose? Do you want this one's nose? That could be a contentious...
Funnier. Like, yeah, I don't know.
I think either way is fine. Because it's like, you know, they're just messing with his nose at first, and then it's just like, or you could look like this. And then it's like, and here's like when you get full face, like, everything done.
Yeah, I'm not saying I have, like, an actual answer. I'm just curious. Would the alternative of, like, doing the joke a different way have worked?
I think it would have worked that way, but I don't know if it would have been funnier. I think it would have just been, like, the same.
Gotcha. Okay.
I think, maybe. This one kind of makes you go, because then it's like there's actual celebrity face.
Right, and it's the first time that you've ever seen an actual celebrity construction paper or magazine cutout, like magazine in the cutout. South Park style. Yeah. The doctor tells him, I assume the doctor's name is Tom because it's Tom's rhinoplasty, so it's just Dr. Tom. I don't remember if they ever say his name.
I don't think they do. Do they ever say? It just says it on the front of the building, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah. Yeah, the front of the building is just called Tom's rhinoplasty. Yeah. So I'm going to assume it's Dr. Tom. So Dr. Tom tells Garrison that there is a risk that he will become a hideous monster, and he goes through some of the detail on him becoming a hideous monster, and then Mr. Garrison is like,
shadow creature that can only come out at night.
Oh, shit. That's right. Yes. But Mr. Garrison is like, oh, I'm fine with that. Like, he's just like, as long as I get chicks, or whatever it is he's thinking.
I guess that's, I'm pretty sure that's his goal. His ultimate goal is to get chicks.
Get some chicks. So back on the playground, the boys are competing with who the teacher likes more. So they're going back and forth with, she likes me more, she was looking at me more, blah, 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 blah. Typical, high school. Someone said high school. I mean, yes, in high school we were doing that too. Yeah, we had that one. We had a teacher that was... What?
Nothing. We had the teacher who, you assumed was doing all of, the guys because of how she acted, and it was very inappropriate. And I was just like, oh my God, I hate her. Yeah.
We had a teacher that we didn't know how, even in high school, you don't quite understand. But, because we had a student teacher who became a full-time teacher, and she was very attractive. You don't think about it, because you're not like, oh, she's 5 years older than me. Right. But it was just like... this girl is extremely attractive.
Sure.
Because she was never inappropriate or anything like that. She was just extremely hot. And all of my friends, at least, were like, hi, Ms.
Oh, my God.
Not realizing, not thinking about the fact that, oh, yeah, she just got out of college and we're juniors. So it's,
Sure.
she's younger than you expect her to be.
Right.
But I don't think when I was little, there was ever this... I don't think I ever had a teacher that was under 35 for the most part, which I know is my age. But I don't think there was ever a younger teacher. It was mostly older teachers.
Yeah, I think they were mostly the older teachers. We had the
but
cool
it's hard
teachers.
To remember.
They weren't the hot teachers. They were just the cool ones.
Yeah.
So.
But it's hard to remember too because I just said you think that the teachers are always older than they really probably are.
Exactly.
Because you're just a kid. Anyway.
But these guys are actual children.
Well, yes, but that's what I'm saying. I don't remember being in
She's
elementary school and having a crush on a teacher. Yeah. But I don't remember. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't remember being in elementary school and having a crush on a teacher. Like, I just don't think that ever happened. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, the only time that could have ever happened was in high school, and it was because it was like a lusty, like, she's hot kind of thing.
You saying lusty is gross. Anyways.
Well, what else
I don't know. I don't want
that?
to hear about your lusting after somebody in high school. It's weird.
Anyway, Chef stops by. Chef is on the playground and he sees the kid, so he comes over and says hi. And he asks, because the boys are saying that she's beautiful, Ms. Ellen.
Yes.
So Chef asks, well, which level of beautiful is she?
And
now,
I feel like I have to look up each one of these people he mentions, because, like...
You can. I knew the first three. I had to look up the one that they settle on, because he says Vanessa Williams, Tony Braxton, or Pam Anderson.
So Vanessa Williams, hold on a second, because you remember the names. Oh, okay, that's who Vanessa Williams. Okay, next, who was it?
Yeah, you've seen Vanessa
yes.
Williams. Tony Braxton.
Okay, all right.
And Pamela Anderson.
I know Pamela Anderson.
Okay. So, I think the boys are the ones that say this. They say Aaron Gray in the second season of Buck Rogers.
Oh, no, that's what Chef says after they all are kind of like, who? What?
No, because they say... Oh, because they say yeah.
Yeah, but that's the one they go, yeah, that one. That's the one.
Oh, gotcha.
So what's her name?
Erin Gray. And that's the one I had to look up too, because I was like, that's too old of a reference. That goes over my head.
I know her.
Well, what IMDb does she have other than the second season of Buck Rogers?
Hold on.
Oh.
I just looked her up on Google.
Because... of the boy's response, Chef is like, damn, I gotta go look at this woman. so because
I feel like he would have said that with any of the women, though.
Oh yeah, 100%. But I think
he just wanted to make sure it was one of those. Tell me it's one of those, because that's what I want.
Yes. And I guess in his mind, Aaron Gray is like the top of the food chain. Like he's escalating.
Oh,
it's like being like, no, hotter.
Okay,
no, hotter. So like,
hotter. Yeah. Okay.
Wendy is jealous, though, and she hears the boys and Chef talking about this. So she comes over and she's like, Stan, didn't you notice that one arm is longer than the other? And Chef has like a line about like, that's okay, children. It doesn't matter.
You know what they say about
longer.
that. And then Kenny actually says what they say about that, but I don't know what he says because it's Kenny. And
I could not decipher it either. There was no deciphering that.
And then she's like, and she's got a mole on, like a hairy mole on her back of her neck, and Chef does the same thing, and they kind of go, what does that one mean? And he never explains.
Yeah, Kenny doesn't know what that one means.
I love how it always is Kenny knows. Kenny'll know.
Yeah, Kenny will know. That is a theme for the whole episode.
Oh, yeah.
Because they even turned to Kenny later.
Absolutely.
And I think it was in the commentary where they said something about the fact that they wanted to say something about, like, she has a urinary tract infection or something like that. I guess they do kind of do something like that later by saying, like, she took a huge dump.
Yeah.
Because
that seems more like a childish thing, too. Yeah.
Yeah. Because Wendy was trying to say, like, she has a smelly word that South Park would use. But they didn't want Matt and Trey to, like, say something about, like, a smelly vagina. So they went with, fine, she took a huge shit.
So instead of smelling like fish, she just smells like poo. I got you.
That's right.
Because that would have been the joke.
Yeah,
that would have been the joke.
I could definitely see Wendy saying that.
She uncrossed her legs and she smells like tuna. Like,
yeah, that's actually very. That even the way you said that, I can like picture Wendy saying.
Yeah. I thought we were having sushi because she uncrossed her legs, and then I was like, oh, it was just the teacher. Like,
yeah, you got it. You got it. Matt and Trey, if you're listening, Rachel is available for a writing partner.
Yeah, I definitely want to write those jokes.
I would for $1 billion.
Fine. Sure.
All right, all the stinky crotch jokes you want. So Wendy's clearly jealous of another woman getting attention and giving her attention away from Stan. And the boys say that they're going to get Ms. Ellen some Valentine's presents. Because it is Valentine's Day. It's a Valentine's themed episode. I guess you could listen to this episode. I'm surprised there's not like
more decorations up around the school. Because at their age, they would have decorated for Valentine's.
Yeah, they don't really lean into that. They mention it's Valentine's Day.
Like they're not even doing Did they do Valentine's? Oh, I guess they did. But it wasn't like...
They do, because they give Ms.
I feel like
Ellen
it should have
stuff.
been like the old school kid Valentine's, though, with the little cards.
Yeah.
You know, the choose me type of thing. Like, that's kind of what I was expecting more so with Valentine's Day than here's, like, actual, like, Christmas presents on your desk. Like, that was a little weird.
Yeah, they didn't quite lean into it. And I feel like they could have, because, South Park is pretty good at the...
Okay, because they're really into, like, construction paper. Like, that's how this was made. They could have made, like, they could have had the boys making Valentines out of construction paper, and who makes the best one, and it has, like, glitter, and, like, this one has this on it, and I use doilies, and, like, you know, all that crap. Like, that would have been great. I would have loved to have seen them do, like, a competition with creating a Valentine.
Yeah, you could have gotten some mileage out of that. Kenny does something either, like, very morose or or is sexual. The best one, and Cartman does something and Cartman's mom tells him that he needs to do something that he doesn't quite understand, but it has like a sexual innuendo in it, so he puts definitely, like, it having something with like George O'Keeffe flowers or something like that, and so Cartman misinterprets flowers for vagina or something like that. I agree. I think that would have made it better, and it would have given it a theme, because technically, I guess you can listen to this Shelf Life episode around Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day.
But there's not a lot of Valentine's Day.
Yeah, there isn't. It's just kind of like, oh, that's happening. That's in the background.
So Wendy remembers the times with Stan, and there's like a heartbreak song playing in the background. And really, because it's just footage from the rest of the season, it's just all the times that Stan has puked on her during their relationship.
Yeah, it's just a montage.
So we get a montage of that.
It's gross.
Yeah. Oh, I figured you were going to love this part.
No, I skipped it.
Ms. Ellen is doing some math at the board, and the boys are staring at her ass as she does it. So
they did give her like a butt.
An ass.
Yeah, they gave her a butt.
Yeah, they gave her some cheese. Isn't that what it's called?
Is that
some
what
cheddar?
It's called? Is that what it's called? You could call it a peach. No, that's the other one, isn't it? No, that's the butt.
No, that's butt. Slang terms.
No. I was just thinking of like the little emoji that they use, the little peach, you know. Get that peach. Get that peachy butt going, you know. My workouts, they say, like, to get the peachy butt, these are the ones you should do.
You put apple bottom, arse, back door, backside, badonkadonk.
I like badonkadonk.
I don't think anybody's used that in 20 years. Bum, caboose, cake. Not cheddar, cake.
It's the cake. That's cake. Right.
Yes.
Cakes by the ocean.
God damn, I am an old man that I got cheddar and cake mixed up. Folks at home, I apologize.
That's like when they do that stupid challenge with the the dumbbell, not the dumbbells, but like the weights, and they push it over, and if it like pushes onto your cake, then you have a cake on your butt. Yeah. Goddamn
right. Love those videos. So keep doing those, folks.
They're so dumb.
It depends on how your ass... Like, yes, I'm glad that you have an ass that the barbell can't get over, but it depends on the rest of your shape, too.
Wow. Oh, wow.
So the boys are looking at her ass. Stan volunteers to clean the erasers after class because she's like, oh, dear, the eraser is, like, not erasing properly. And, of course, the boys are all on top of it because they think this will carry them some favor with teacher.
Of course. Because they're hot for teacher.
So she asks them where they're at with their multiplication tables because that's, what she's trying to teach them. And I don't remember if it's Cartman or if it's Kyle,
Cartman.
But one of them says, it's Cartman, okay. Cartman says that where they left off was that Yasmin Bleeth went out with that Richard Grieco guy, and that's where they left off with multiplication.
Cartman?
What's a multiplication table?
Didn't Mr. Garrison teach multiplication? Well, where did he leave off?
We were learning about how Yasmin Bleeth is going out with that Richard Grieco guy that used to be on 21 Jump Street, but then he got his own show for just a little while.
Oh, hello.
Can I help you?
I'm Chef.
And?
I stopped by because little Kyle forgot his laundry detergent on the playground.
My laundry detergent? That's not Kyle's...
Crazy Crocker's always leaving that detergent all over the place.
And she just got
Ms.
this
Ellen
face like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, because she's too normal, she's like, what? So
Like, I'm an actual teacher.
Chef walks in.
Yep.
And he's like, oh, hello there, Ms. Ellen. I'm just dropping off some of the children's laundry detergent.
They left it on the playground. They need their laundry detergent for school.
I liked this because it was just so absurd.
It was anything he could find. Like
Chef could not think of anything better.
I mean, he's chef. He could have been like, you left your lunch box or something. Like, there's got to be some sort of lunch box back there that he could have just been like, hey, you left your lunch box. That's not my lunch box. Yeah, it is. It's your lunch box.
Yeah, shut up. Well, at least he didn't. At least Kyle didn't like fight with him. He was just like, here, Kyle, you left your laundry detergent.
Exactly.
So this allows Chef to make his move. And she says, I'm the substitute, and he starts singing a song, There's No Substitute for You. No substitute, no substitute. They made this into a full song.
Did they
Apparently
really?
they recorded a full song with Isaac Hayes.
Am I surprised? No. That makes sense.
No, you shouldn't be. Ms. Ellen, though, does not fall for Chef's seduction. And she's like, can I just get back to teaching? And he says, well, how about you and I go to dinner? And she's like, yeah, that's fine. We'll go to dinner. Just so she can get back to work. Which I figured you took some objection with that, Rachel, about the woman saying like she'll just go to dinner with the guy.
Well, I mean, she it's not that I take objection
as coworkers,
right? One, she might be thinking, fine, we'll go get a drink after work, but it's as coworkers. One, two, that is a tactic. If you want a guy to leave you alone, you just kind of go, yeah, that's fine. We'll set something up later.
Okay.
Because it's like, go away. I am working right now.
I feel personally attacked.
I'm sorry. But I could see that being used here. Like, come on, let's just do this. Okay, fine. Like,
see, here's why
we'll do that
I
later.
think.
Like,
here's why, like, I understand that could be like something that will work because, like, you're just like, yeah, go away.
Right.
But I do feel like there are certain guys that will then continue
that is the
to
problem.
berate you.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is a big problem. But it's like one of those things where it's like, can I say no to this guy? Is he going to freak out if I say no? Like, how do I approach this? That's the scary part.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
you want to just be able to say no, but then it's usually like, oh, come on, no.
Oh, come on. Aw. When Chef leaves, the boys are like, oh, good. Chef's going to make sweet love to Ms. Ellen.
Yeah, seriously.
And she's like, what?
So now she is like, oh, wait a minute. That's not what I was agreeing to.
Yeah. Garrison wakes up with bandages over his face. And he's a bit nauseous because of all of the
from the surgery,
sedative. Yeah, from the surgery. So the doctor comes in and starts to describe the procedure. And the joke here is that he is describing how all the pus and all the scratches and cuts
things,
and stuff.
Yeah.
But Garrison gets sick only when he mentions the movie Contact. And that causes Garrison to vomit and talk about how Contact is a terrible movie. Rachel, I don't think I've ever seen Contact.
I've never seen Contact.
So I cannot comment one way or another. I don't even know what
I was going to say,
I think it's
what
about aliens.
Is it? I mean, it sounds like it would be about aliens because it's like first contact type of thing, maybe. Now I'm going to look it up.
It's a movie directed by Robert Zemeckis.
Okay.
With it looks like this is Jodie Foster and Matthew McConaughey.
You know, I'm not surprised.
After years, they find conclusive radio proof of extraterrestrial intelligence, sending plans for a mysterious machine. Okay, so there you go. So apparently they hated this movie and they wanted to make fun of it this way. I feel like this one's kind of lost in time. So if you want to put it on the list, Rachel, we can give it a shot. Who knows if
that could be kind of fun because it's just like where did this one come from? That could be interesting.
Yeah,
it's
one of those forgotten movies.
Yeah.
So anyway, their joke here is that Contact is so bad that's what makes Garrison sick, as opposed to all of the stuff the doctor is saying. Yeah.
So did you notice the poster in the background on this one? There was like a man with an elephant's face. Like it's a man from the side,
yes,
and then it has like an
elephant's
face, and it says there is no hope, Dr. Tom.
Oh, is that okay? Is that because like he's saying like the worst possible scenario is you have like an elephant trunk?
I think it has
to
be, right? It has to be.
Yeah.
It looks ridiculous though.
Yes, I did see that. That was very bizarre.
It looks like a Time magazine. That's what it looks like to me, like a Time magazine cover.
Yeah, I couldn't tell exactly what it was, but I did notice that it was like a morphed human face with this elephantitis
Yep, that's what
look
it is.
to it.
That's what it is.
Wendy asks to talk to Ms. Ellen after class, and Wendy says to her that, she's noticed that she's taken a liking to Stan and talking to Stan a bunch, and she says, well, I like all of you. You're also young and cute and full of life.
Yeah.
And Wendy's response is, don't fuck with me.
Wendy like puts it out there right now. Like, haha, let me tell you how it is.
Can I tell you something, Miss Ellen?
Of course, Wendy.
Don't with me.
What?
You heard me. Stay away from my man, bitch, or I'll whoop your sorry whole ass back to last year. Bye, Miss Ellen.
Yeah, Wendy loses her goddamn mind. And she's like, stay away from my man, or I will whip your sorry ass.
Yep. There it is.
So Wendy,
the threat has been made.
Wendy not totally understanding that it's Stan just kind of
having a crush on an older woman. The older woman has no interest in children.
Yeah. So that it is now just, a personal vendetta between Wendy and Ms. Ellen. Right. So the boys get Valentines for Ms. Ellen. Kyle gets a scarf.
This is the Valentine's part where they
This
have,
is the
like,
Valentine's part of the episode. Yeah, they got presents. You're right. It would have been better if they had to come up with like little poems or something.
It would have been so cute seeing like the little cutouts and stuff that kids make. Like that would have been adorable.
But instead, it's just Kyle gets her a scarf. Kenny gets her a sausage, which he then laughs at, and clearly that's
I gave you my sausage. That's why.
That's right. Yeah. Stan gives her a clock.
I don't understand the clock, but all right.
Yeah, there's nothing there other than it's Stan, I guess. So it's like just kind of like a simple gift. Yeah. And Wendy gives her a dead rat.
Fantastic gift, fantastic. But she doesn't like react to it. She's just like, "Thank you."
Oh yeah, I think that pisses Wendy off because
100%.
She doesn't get a reaction.
Absolutely.
And
and Cartman was supposed to give her like a chocolate cake, but he left it at home, with chocolate all over his mouth.
Yeah, he clearly ate it. Yeah. So Ms. Ellen says that they're going to take a spelling test, like a pop quiz, and the highest score is going to get to go to dinner with her. I guess
weird. Weird incentive, but fine.
Weird. That's a weird incentive.
I guess it's like, I'll take you out to dinner and like I'll pay for your dinner. Like, ooh, fun incentive for like small town type of thing. I don't know.
I guess I would feel weird. So awkward if that was a thing.
Absolutely.
And it's kind of like, it's like one of those things where I think the teacher, in this case Ms. Ellen, like maybe recognizes that the boys have a crush on her, so she can take advantage of that by trying to raise their grades, maybe? I don't know.
Oh, maybe? I don't know. Maybe she really thinks this is a fun incentive.
I just think this is, like, you would
it's
not...
a little bizarre.
No one would be able to do this today. This would be wildly inappropriate. The teacher would be, like, fired
Could you
for
imagine
even
the parents?
Suggesting this. Yeah. This would not fly. In the commentary, Trey mentions that this was something that his elementary school would do, where they would pick kids and you would get to go to lunch or dinner with the principal and the assistant principal. And they would like set it saying like it was like to learn the students and to like catch up with the students.
Yeah, but usually see, like, I can see that happening. They used to do stuff like that where it was like, here's the group of kids and then you get to like
make it like lunch. 4 or 5 kids having lunch,
and then
at the
you'd
same
have lunch
time.
with like the faculty of some sort. And then it's kind of like a get to know each other type of a thing, but it's within the school grounds still too. Like it's not like you're gonna go out to dinner.
Yeah, that would make
fancy place
a lot more sense. Yeah, or you'd get food brought in from outside if you wanted to make it like an event for them,
something special. Pizza party. That should have been her in the
exactly.
The pizza party.
Yes. Trey thought it was because he thought the principal and the assistant principal might have had like a thing going, so like they would just pick the kids so that they could go to dinner as like a cover without being kind of caught.
What? I like it. That's a thought right there.
But this is bizarre. Like I thought for a second, is this gonna go like a weird direction?
I was very concerned.
Which they do in an episode in the future with Ike. they do that topic.
Oh, they do. They go too far.
But I was glad to see that they did do that here, because Ms. Ellen, for the most part, is just kind of like a nice person.
Like that she's just normal. She doesn't belong in South Park, this woman.
Wendy asks her if when someone gets as old as her, do they need to wear Depends? Which, yes, you do, folks at home. You do.
Wow, okay.
Wendy is mad. Huh?
I didn't realize, man.
Yeah. You're not wearing your Depends right now, Rachel?
No. I am not.
Make sure to wipe down your seat, just in case.
All right.
So,
I will.
How do you think I'm able to get through all these hours of podcasting?
What? I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
Wendy is mad Stan doesn't immediately say hi. Oh, yeah. What am I talking about here? I can't remember where they are, but when Stan...
They went to the cafeteria.
Okay, so Wendy says hi to Stan. He doesn't immediately say hi back, so she's like, "Hi, Stan!" and, like, yells at him.
Yeah.
This is where she says that Ms. Ellen was taking a huge dump.
Yes,
and the
this
boys
is where
refuse
that's
to believe
exactly.
It. Yeah. The boys don't want to believe it. Cartman says, "Stop being lunch." And
No,
Wendy
stop
freaks
being
out.
jealous.
Yeah, I was like, what? I don't know why it
being
autocorrected to lunch.
I love that.
Yeah. So Cartman tells her to stop being jealous, and she freaks out, and she's like,
Like
"I'm
a
not
jealous
jealous!"
freak. Yeah.
Yeah, and like just freaks out. So the boys go into the line to get food from Chef, and Chef is all disappointed. He looks all upset, you know?
Yes.
Not his usual jovial self, at least.
Right. He's not sparkling.
Right. So they ask him how the dinner with Ms. Ellen went, and they were like, "Did you make sweet, sweet love to her?" And he's like, no, nothing like that, children. Ms. Ellen doesn't play for the right team.
And the kids
She's
look
not a
so
member.
Confused.
She's not a member of the heterosexual persuasion. She's a
love
lesbian.
How, like, yeah, he's like having to beat around the bush so much. And it's like, she's a lesbian. She's like, she's not into me.
Nowadays, I think even if it was a bunch of 8-year-olds, you would just be like, she's gay. Like, it wouldn't even be like...
Oh, yeah. That's all you have to say. Yeah.
So they ask,
it's not
like...
weird.
Yeah, so they don't know they don't know what a lesbian is. And they're like, "Kenny?" And Kenny shrugs his shoulders because he doesn't know what a lesbian is either.
I'm surprised Kenny doesn't know what a lesbian is.
Yeah, me too. Kenny might just not know the term. Kenny has...
yeah, he probably knows what it is, but doesn't know the terminology.
Yeah,
for
it's
it.
got to be that.
That makes sense.
I feel like another problem is that Kenny would have found out what it was.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, at some point during this episode, he would have found... Like, and you could have it so that, like, Cartman's chewing on carpet or whatever, and Kenny's laughing at him for doing it.
Yes.
But at
he
some
knows
point,
what it
Kenny would have went and found
means,
it. Yeah, figured it out.
He would have gone and, like, watched porn. I'm surprised
Exactly.
he doesn't know what it is.
Yes. Yes. So Chef tells them, just know that she's a lesbian, and she only likes other lesbians, because he doesn't want to explain it to them. And the boys say they have to become lesbians, and Cartman's like, "Well, I think my grandpa was half lesbian, so that makes me like a quarter lesbian."
Which I assume Lebanese?
I don't even know.
Maybe?
I think...
It's my guess. It's going to be my guess on that one.
That's-
Because it's like the
that's-
closest
I'll
to
let you-
lesbian.
I'll let you have that one. The only commentary I can glean from all of this is that it's like an interesting point of fact at the time of like not wanting to explain what a gay person is to a child.
Yes.
Which there are still those people on Twitter that'll be, I'm not calling it X, people on Twitter that'll be like, you know, how am I supposed to explain a gay person to my kid? And it's like, I don't fucking know. You have to explain the world to a child.
I was gonna say, you still have to explain everything else. It should be pretty easy. You know, like when they're not gay, it's a boy and a girl. When they are gay, it's a boy and a boy and a girl and a girl. Like, there you go. And it's like, oh, okay. That's it. Ta-da!
It kind of goes back to that whole, like, the self-responsibility thing of, like,
yeah,
that's not my fucking problem. That's your problem.
It's also
like,
very
you figure
true.
it out.
Yeah, that's everything. You have to explain everything to kids, and they're going to ask you so many damn questions. They're going to ask you the most awkward of questions. I don't know how you're going to deal with that. Have fun.
Yeah. Again, it's not my problem. It's your fucking problem. Garrison now has a paper cutout of Hasselhoff's head. So he has it's Mr.
Yes.
Garrison's body with
And
David
this is-
Hasselhoff's head. And
So,
voice.
okay, here's
Garrison's
my
voice.
question. Oh yeah,
Okay.
it's still Mr. Garrison, of course. Here was my question though, because it's one of those things where it's like what you're expecting versus what you get, right? So earlier when we were talking about like, oh, like here's the different nose jobs you can get. At that point, I'm expecting it to be flubbed and he doesn't look like David Hasselhoff. Like he gets like botched surgery type of thing. So he ends up looking like somebody else. And instead, he actually gets to look like David Hasselhoff. Would it have been funnier if he didn't look like David Hasselhoff?
No. I think for this, I don't know. I can't tell if that would have been more expected.
Yeah.
Or if it's funnier that he does look like David Hasselhoff.
That he does look identical.
Yeah. I kind of like that he looks like David Hasselhoff. If they were to revise this joke and do it again somehow, then having it be botched and him look like shit would be funny.
Or maybe it's just a different version of David Hasselhoff. And then he's just like, oh, this isn't really the version I was going for. Or like, ooh, this is even better. Like...
Yeah.
Something silly like that, I suppose.
But I don't mind that he looks like David Hasselhoff.
I think it's pretty funny.
And is immediately like a stud. At Cartman's house, Eric is on the ground. Apologies to
this
everyone.
Was the most
Eric
awkward
is on the
thing.
ground.
It just switches to this. Eric is just on all fours, licking the carpeting.
What the hell are you doing, Cartman? My mom said if you want to become a lesbian, you have to lick carpet. Really? Well, I got an Indigo Girl CD. The guy at the record store said it was perfect. And I got these killer Birkenstocks.
I woke up very early one Sunday morning.
This is a bunch of crap. I've been licking this carpet for 3 hours and I still don't feel like a lesbian.
Why? No, never mind. It's his mom.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, why would she use that terminology? Like, why was that the one that she went with? No, it makes sense. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, it's a funny visual.
Because I could just say, oh, you're gonna have to learn to lick a lot of carpets. Like that's exactly how I imagined her saying it. Like,
yes. thinking that was the end of it. Like I'm not gonna have to explain this again. Just like move on.
Oh, I'm not ready to explain that term to you, so you just that's one of those things. Like, ha ha ha.
Mm-hmm.
Let me make you some cookies. Like that's exactly. She's just gonna like, nope, out of that one.
Kyle got some Birkenstocks because he heard that that would make him a lesbian. I can't remember the name of the CD that Stan brought, but that must be something related to lesbianism.
Inglow?
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
What's Inglow?
Whatever. So it's something that, must be, I guess that's the joke lesbian, of some kind.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, then the four boys have this CD on while they're sitting on the floor licking the carpeting.
Yep, that's what's happening.
So Mr. Garrison is getting more attention now with his cosmetic surgery. I think it was funny to hear the voice come out of the Hasselhoff
David
face.
Hasselhoff? Yeah, It's a little weird. It's a little jarring, honestly.
Wendy has gone over to Bebe's house with a makeup kit, and she wants to get noticed again, so she wants to get a makeover. Because she can't wait to, get back at Ms. Ellen, and she actually has a plan for Ms. Ellen, but she'll just have to deal with getting the makeover.
Going with the makeover instead, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So their boys are back in class the next day, and they can't wait for Ms. Ellen to see what a raging lesbian they are. Wendy arrives, and she looks like she's straight out of Grease, and then the boys actually say that she looks like the chick from Grease.
That's very true.
Yeah,
yes.
So she's clearly made up to look like...
She has the Sandy... She has the Sandy makeover.
Mm-hmm. Yes. The leather
Tell
pants
me
and
about
everything.
It, stud. Like, that's exactly... All she had to do was say that.
But then, Ms. Ellen walks in with leather pants and a crop top and completely, takes it over.
We're twins!
Now, I know Ms. Ellen did not mean...
She should not have worn a crop top.
Thank you. Probably not the most appropriate thing.
No.
But obviously she looks super hot in her leather pants and crop top. And who doesn't? Everybody looks hot in leather pants and a crop top.
Yeah,
I could wear leather pants and a crop top and look good.
Absolutely. You just got to put that on, you're looking good.
Yeah. Doesn't matter. You get a tight enough leather pants, everybody looks good. Garrison walks into the classroom complete with sexy music. So there's a song that's playing behind Mr. Garrison this whole time.
Of course.
Shadow Dancing by Andy Gibb is the song.
All right.
Mhm.
Sure. There you go. I feel like I don't know music anymore.
I think it's a
I
song from,
didn't
the
know music
70s.
back then. I don't know music now.
I've never been good at music. I think it's a funny song to play. It does fit very well, I thought, into Mr. Garrison like strutting down the street.
Oh, sure.
Wendy's happy that he's back because he's, now she kind of tells the teacher, like, up yours and whatever. Mr. Garrison, though, says that he has an important announcement. He's quitting teaching so that he can now...
Bang all the hot chicks he can get.
He's going to hang out and screw hot chicks.
Yep,
That's my dream, Rachel.
It's strange, but suddenly I feel really confident about myself, and I've decided to quit teaching and do what I've always dreamed of doing. Hang out and screw hot chicks.
too much.
So the principal and Ms. Ellen talked, and Ms. Ellen is now going to permanently replace Mr. Garrison. And
Yep.
Wendy has a panic attack.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And then dinner turns out to be for Stan with Ms. Ellen, so she screams and freaks out again.
Yep.
And then Principal Victoria
Then
informs her that her grandma died this morning, and she screams some more.
more screaming. Poor Wendy. Too much is happening today. And the principal says, like, what an exciting day.
Yes.
You just told her that her grandma's dead in front of everybody.
I kind of like that there's an episode that focuses on Wendy. And,
Oh, yeah, that's
like
kinda
her
fun.
struggles as like a little girl growing up in South Park.
Right.
Even if she does go Cartman-esque in this episode.
I could see little girls doing that, though, too.
Yeah,
I could
absolutely.
see it.
Don't fuck with Wendy Testaburger.
That's
Rachel.
right. That's right.
Mr. Garrison starts modeling.
Yeah, that's...
He's a lady killer, Mr. Hat.
Does
They
that
need to
technically
do-
make Mr. Hat also a model?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, cool.
Mr. Hat's also modeling. I mean,
That
he's
makes
there, so he's
That's right.
modeling for sure. The guy doing the photographer tells him that there's a few hundred more shots, and Mr. Garrison says he's going to need more smack for that. So Mr.
course.
Garrison's doing some drugs to keep up with all of the...
That makes sense, though. That just feels like a normal day for him anyways.
I thought for a second we were going to get like a quick third act, like him going through the steps of like being a famous model and like getting
Right.
addicted to cocaine and then like getting abused and like all of,
Yeah,
you
just
know,
like a quick
there's going to be like a
montage
thing.
of it, and it
Yeah.
all happened in one day, and then...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They kind of do something similar to that with Mr. Mackey when Mr. Mackey starts doing drugs and he just like progressively does harder and harder drugs.
Right.
So maybe I'm thinking of it because I'm thinking of it from a different episode, but I could have seen
That's
it working here
possible.
of like him flaming out as a model quickly.
I guess we're thinking of this as they're already established as a show, and kind of already are hitting those points later on in seasons,
Yeah.
and we're like coming up with stuff that they just probably wouldn't have thought of like at that moment for that season, because they only had like a certain amount of time for each of these too, with the cardboard cutouts and stuff.
Mhm. That's true. Well, they were doing the computer stuff by now. In fact,
okay.
one
That
of my
makes sense.
one of the notes I took was I thought that the animation looked a lot cleaner,
It does. It does.
like compared to the previous episodes. I thought that it looks a lot smoother
It
these
does look a lot
these
smoother.
last three. I don't know why that is, but it just kind of does. Maybe they just started figuring it out a little bit better.
My assumption is it's just like figuring it out, getting that animation in, that they understanding like how it all works and putting
Yeah.
it together. Yeah.
Ms. Ellen takes Stan out, and Stan asks if they are making love now, because he doesn't know what that means. And he says that Chef says that they are supposed to do it by a fire. So, like, wait, like, do we need to get the fire, or, like, what? And Ms. Ellen says that they're not, that, like, she doesn't like him like that because they're only friends. Because, first of all, he's only 8 years old.
Right. I love that. First off, you're 8. Second of all, I'm your teacher, and that's not how this works. I mean, she did just kind of take him to like a fast food buffet or something.
Yeah,
it
they
looks
went
like
to,
it would be,
like,
like a little
a-
diner.
Yeah, they went to, like, a Denny's or a Bennigan's or whatever.
Oh yeah, yeah. Waffle House.
Yeah,
I'm
something
gonna call
like
it a
that.
Waffle House.
Yeah. Wendy watches from the window and says she gives up. And she's going to let Ms. Ellen win. Garrison says it's boring being hot and sexy. Oh, it's so boring being hot and sexy.
Yeah.
And then all the women of South Park
mob
kind of
of
flock
women.
and attack him. Yeah.
Yes.
So he's just so hot. He's like irresistible to all the women of South Park.
Of course.
Stan says the next day, they ask him how it went, and they're like, did you make love to Ms. Ellen? And he's like, I think we made love. So he still doesn't get it. Like, he did not take... And part of it might have been, I thought part of it was going to be revealed that, like, she explained it to Stan understood, but he didn't want to... He wanted to save face in front of the guys, so he still said that.
Sure.
That's not what happens. I thought that was going to be
No.
what happened. Because,
I
like,
think she half explained it. He didn't pay attention, didn't care. I will still want to make love to my teacher.
Okay.
And then goes back to the friends and goes, I think I did it. I think we did it. And really truly thinks that. I'm curious as to what Kenny says to him though, because he's like, did you do this and this? And then he's like, did I do what? Like,
oh yeah.
which he's
I think
probably
he says
asking if
something
he
about
actually had
sex. Yeah, I think that's. I think he was like, I had to put what where. It's like kind of the thing.
Wait, it's
I
like
was
that?
getting at it.
Yeah, that's what I assume. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Wendy says she needs to apologize for the way she was acting. She tells Ms. Ellen and hopes that they can be friends and wishes for happiness between Stan and Ms. Ellen. And Ms. Ellen's like, there is nothing there between me and Stan. She's like trying to really emphasize it to them.
Yeah, she's like, at this point, no.
The women chasing Garrison tear off his clothes and he finally gets away and he's like, I need to get the surgery reversed because I hate this. I can't live like this.
It's like too much. I can't be this beautiful.
And, of course, he is secretly gay, so he's probably just does not want this to begin with.
Exactly.
Yeah. So now we get to the end of the episode. And Matt and Trey admit in the commentary they had no idea how to end this. So
this
what
is
happens? Rachel,
this
do
is
you want
very weird.
Would you like to describe what happens?
So we're in the classroom and like a bunch of Iraqi soldiers come in.
Yes.
And like they're yelling at the teacher that she's a traitor of the country and then they need to take her back. And she's like, no, what are you talking about? And the principal's there and she's going, what's going on? Is this true? Can't believe it's true. Yeah, she apparently has like killed thousands of people and they take her and she's no longer the teacher.
Yeah. So
like that's
yeah.
Yeah.
They say that they I don't know, like she's killed thousands and then there's a photo of her with
there's a photo of her. Yes.
Yeah, she's like
with,
seducing
like, some leader.
Yeah, which was weird because
must be photoshopped.
And then I wondered, because, like, the thoughts were rolling through my head, like, did she just tell Chef she was a lesbian? She's not really, so that she got...
Oh, yeah,
like,
that's true.
Like, there was all these, like, things.
There was no, like, definite lesbian on this one. We didn't know that, if she actually was or not. So maybe she was just like, oh, yeah, I'm actually, you know, gay.
I think she actually is, because of what we find out at the end, the very end of the episode, but... there's nothing there. I'm just saying, like, she's not really an Iraqi spy
that's
or
true.
whatever. So
right.
I think that's probably like she really probably was. But I was just going through my head like, oh, was she really a spy? And she was just lying to Chef and all that kind of stuff. But I don't think that's the case.
Well, she takes one of the swords though. Because
she
they
does.
came in with the swords, and she's like ringing around because she doesn't want them to take her. She's scared. And she's like throwing it around and then accidentally actually throws it towards the children and stabs Kenny.
Yes.
Oh my God. She killed Kenny.
She's a bastard. And the kids do turn on her and the soldiers take her
Which
her
good
away.
for them. At least they're like, you know, with their friends on this one. Like, oh, she killed Kenny. Oh, who cares? No, they're like, no. You don't kill a Kenny. That is our Kenny.
And they say that they can't believe that Ms. Ellen was a criminal Iraqi fugitive. And Wendy and Stan make up. Stan pukes in her mouth.
Of course.
This was the one where, because I remember there was like another episode, Rachel, where you're like, doesn't he puke in her mouth? And so it must have been this one that you were thinking of.
Yeah, probably. When does he get over this? What season? I can't wait for it.
No, they still have him do it every once in a while.
I thought he got over it. I hate it.
They break up at some point during the Raisins episode.
Whatever.
Remember? That's like when they permanently break up.
That's fine.
So, Cartman is chowing on Box to try and become a lesbian.
Yeah. I don't think I understand that one. I
No?
assume it's the same innuendo,
It's the exact same innuendo.
but I don't think I've ever heard that one before.
Oh, really? A box is,
No, I didn't know.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I've never heard that term.
I don't
I
understand.
don't know. That one confused me. The carpet, yeah, I get that.
That one I get. Yeah, I
The
don't know
box
why.
just seemed weird.
It sounds like something the British would have made up.
Let's
It
just throw
does.
that out there.
I feel like it does. If I looked it up now, I bet it's got some sort of British context to it.
Well, now I'm
Ellen-
curious.
You're going to make me look this up now? Maybe it's an American thing. Oh, so I guess it's an American thing and not a British thing. Because all these British people are saying they've never heard of it. Is it an American thing?
But see, like, I never did.
That can't be true.
I love how you're just like, no, this must be British.
No, 'cause I bet it's both. There's no way that British and Americans, that's got to be the same. The use of box as slang for vagina goes back to the 17th century.
What? Good lord.
They don't say anything about where it came from, though.
Yeah,
so
I was gonna
it
say,
just
you
says
still
the
said
17th
nothing
century.
about the box.
17th century, though, would have to mean that it's an English thing, right? Because, if it's from that was the only country around. Anyway.
I don't
Okay, we didn't solve that one. Ms. Ellen is charged with being shot into the sun, which is what Wendy said she wanted to happen. She wanted to shoot Ms.
Exactly.
Ellen into the sun.
Poor woman, because she was just so normal.
So then we see that Wendy and Bebe are sitting by the pool, and Kyle comes by and says, "This whole thing seems a little strange." And Wendy got some help from the town to have Mr. Garrison become a teacher again. And one of the women from town comes by and she thanks them for helping her. So it wasn't that Mr. Garrison was just so attractive. It was that they were setting him up to have his surgery reversed so that he would become a teacher again.
Is that? Yeah, that's true. That's probably exactly why.
Mm-hmm.
But, why would they want him to become a teacher again? This
She
man
wants to get rid of
cannot-
Ms. Ellen.
I know, but why would they help her? Because, why would
What
they
do
help
they
her?
care?
Because Mr. Garrison sucks as a teacher.
But they're not the moms of the town. They're just the women in town, and they
I
know
guess.
Wendy because Wendy's probably part of the women's rights group or something in South Park.
All right, fine, whatever. It just seems odd. I mean, one, them sitting out by the pool in February
I
is
kinda liked that
also
they were-
odd.
Yeah, but
you
I
know?
liked that they were. I kind of liked it because it was supposed to be they're being nefarious,
Oh yeah, now here's the badass these are actually the bosses of what happened just now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And then the Iraqis come by, and there's a group of Iraqis that she talks with them in a foreign language.
Yes.
And then gives them some money, and they walk away. And Kyle's like, "Oh no, Wendy, you didn't." And Wendy's like, "Well, hang on, let me get it's time to watch my eclipse." And she gets the little eclipse shoebox out, and she sees Ms. Ellen being thrown into the sun, and
That's
she
right.
again says,
I told her, don't f*** with Wendy Testaburger.
That's right. And her
In the
eyes go
episode.
nuts.
"Yes."
She
Yeah,
has
she
some
becomes
scary
possessed.
eyes. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the end of the episode. So that is it for Tom's Rhinoplasty, the 11th episode of South Park. Rachel, what did you think of Tom's Rhinoplasty?
It was fine. It was. I mean, I wasn't a big fan. I liked the teacher character. I liked her character. But the rest of it kind of fell flat for me.
Mm-hmm.
So, I feel like we wanted to come up with better things for them to do, which makes me think that
Yeah.
it wasn't that good.
Sure. We can always improve on things. That's fine.
Of course, yes.
Even if it's something that we love, we can talk about something that we wish that they would do better. But I get your point.
Yeah. Maybe a little too much gross out humor for me too, but
Sure.
that's just my preference.
Right. I remember not liking this one as a kid. I don't remember revisiting this one at all in recent memory and didn't remember what happened at the end or anything like that. I will say it's okay. It's not insulting my intelligence or anything like that, but it's definitely further down the list for me. I really don't love it or like it or anything like that.
I agree with you that I like that they focused on Wendy a little bit with this one.
Yeah.
But it just didn't feel like very strong. It just kind of felt like
Yeah, I wrote the same
just
thing. It's not very
there.
strong. The animation is good, but it's just kind of there. It's almost like a filler episode or something like that for me.
That's kind of what it feels like.
Now, Matt and Trey don't like this episode.
Okay. Yeah, I
They
can
said
see
that they didn't like it, that they thought it was going to be like, they thought it was a bad episode. When it debuted, people really liked this episode, and they thought it was really good. In 2003, the Chicago Tribune said it was one of the top 10 episodes of all time.
Top 10?
Yeah.
No.
And granted, that was 2003, but still. But yes, the internet is very positive on this episode, and I do not get it. I don't
get it.
I don't really like this episode. I don't think it's that good. I like I said, I think it's just kind of like there. There's parts of it that are funny enough, but it's not very good.
No, I was honestly I was.
So I'm more with Matt and Trey.
I was a little bored. I'm with Matt and Trey. I'm sorry guys, but I was bored with this one.
So that is Tom's Rhinoplasty. When we come back, after a word from our God damn it, after a word from our fake sponsor, we will do the penultimate episode of season 1 of South Park, Mechastreisand.
Chestnuts roasting.
Season's greetings from Barbara Streisand to you. Season's greetings from Barbara Streisand and Friends, a special album of Christmas songs by Barbara Streisand, Jim Nabors, Doris Day, and Andre Kostelanetz. Get it for yourself and your friends for $1. Only when you buy instant or ground Maxwell House coffee. Look for the Maxwell House record display in your store at participating grocers.
No, apparently they just hate Barbara Streisand.
I mean, fair. I kind of assumed it was just that.
Yeah, I'll explain why. They have kind of a reasoning behind it, and I think they just kind of dislike her, and I think they just think that she's kind of a pain in the ass. And her reaction to this episode probably didn't help the cause of that either. So, because they didn't come out with any of this until like the commentary years later of like why they picked Barbara Streisand, and then they were like, and then she was like a dick about it, even though we make fun of celebrities constantly.
Right.
And we're back with another episode of South Park Season 1. We have only 2 episodes left, Rachel, and then you can forget about South Park for a little bit.
That's fine. I'll take a little bit of a break. That's fine by me.
So, Rachel, what episode are we doing, and what is it about?
So, the episode is called Mechastreisand. The whole thing is about the kids going on an archaeological dig, like a little field trip, finding a thing, and then Barbara Streisand wanting it to become Mechastreisand.
Yes.
Yeah.
They find a thing. She becomes Mechastreisand.
Right.
Yeah. It's a kaiju satire, kaiju parody of Godzilla and stuff.
Mechagodzilla, yeah.
Yeah. Yes. So yeah, this episode aired on February 18th, 1998. The guys and Philip Stark wrote this one. So, as I was telling you offline, Rachel, I think they actually so they say in the commentary, I don't remember what year this commentary came out, 2002 or 3 or something like that. They say that, for the most part, they're just having fun with celebrities. They're making fun of celebrity culture. They don't like celebrities. They think celebrity culture is dumb, and most celebrities are dumb, and that's why they just pick them at random.
Sure, fair enough.
But they truly don't like Barbara Streisand. They think that she's annoying and that she is stuck up. One of the things, and I think that this is probably one of the reasons that they dislike her, is because she insulted Colorado at one point. So I guess back in the day,
like
there was some
state of Colorado.
Right.
Okay.
So I guess at one point, this Colorado legislature passed some amendment in the Constitution which did not allow homosexuals to be recognized as a protected class. That got struck down by the Supreme Court and by federal legislation, which later made homosexuality a protected class. Matt and Trey are, not... I don't think that they would be in favor, especially nowadays, of anti-LGBT
yeah, I doubt they would be.
legislation. I don't know what this
surprising if
amendment
they
was
were.
or anything like that. But she went to Colorado to like protest this or made a public statement, and she called everyone in Colorado. She said everyone here is just a bunch of hicks.
You know, that's probably what did it. It's because it's like you're putting us all into one little bucket instead of like that's the government that did it. Like the government did that. That's not Colorado and the people.
Right.
That's
and
what
I'm
did
sure
it.
that they make fun of the
course.
fact that there's these little white redneck mountain towns in Colorado that
Sure.
are filled with hicks.
Of course.
There's a representative from Colorado that's a fucking hillbilly redneck hick.
There you
right
go.
now.
Nothing about this, but it's hilarious.
But my point is that, yeah, I think that's probably what did it for them.
Oh, yeah. Most
However,
likely.
if you get satirized in South Park, you probably should take it in stride because, one, it means that you're large enough that they know you to be able to, like, reference you.
Right.
And secondly, it's South Park.
Yep, that's it. That's it. It's South Park, okay?
Streisand, however, had this to say about her appearance on South Park after this and before the guys kind of explained that they hate her. So I wonder if this had something to do with them saying that they hate her too. I wasn't even aware of this show until I read in Time magazine that they had used me in a very negative way. Let me say that I enjoy satire and parody, and I loved the movie In and Out. I don't even know what that movie is.
I don't know.
It made me laugh. It wasn't mean-spirited. But I wonder if shows like South Park and Beavis and Butthead don't add to the cynicism and negativity in our culture, especially in children. These youngsters are formulating their attitudes, and maybe they come away feeling that any woman who dares to accomplish something is the incarnation of self-centeredness and greed. And that would be very unfortunate, especially for young girls. So if you take that path and you say that they're negative and that like they're the reason for like greed and negativity in the world, they're gonna come at you harder.
Yeah, they are.
And when we
now
get
you
to
just
Spooky
come off,
Vision,
you sound like a pretentious bitch. That's literally
Right.
what that sounds like now.
yeah.
Like, okay,
Is
calm
Barbara
down. What?
is Barbara Streisand the one that cloned her dog? Is she the one that like keeps cloning her
I
dog?
feel like I remember that. Wait, I think you might be right. Okay, so by the way, In and Out is a Midwestern teacher questions his sexuality after a former student makes a comment about him at the Academy Awards.
I've never heard of that in my life.
Hold on,
Like, lady, use like Airplane or something.
But she probably has never
Yeah,
seen
Barbara
it.
Streisand. Barbara Streisand cloned her dog. She clones it for $50,000 every time the dog dies.
Okay, the woman's nuts. All right, she should be on South Park. I wouldn't be surprised if they did bring her back again to do this cloning bit.
And then just for shits and gigs, Barbara Streisand also in her basement has constructed a mini shopping mall that features a gift shop, antique shop, a doll shop, and a sweet shop that serves frozen yogurt and popcorn so that she can pretend like she's a normal person.
I'm just gonna let that. What?
So yes, I'm
Look,
sure
I've
Barbara
always
Streisand...
I always have said I would love to have my own yarn store in my house. Like, I would love to have a craft store of my own. But that is kind of sad.
Yeah. So I'm sure Barbara Streisand was on the right side of history when it comes to that amendment, and Colorado was probably being rednecky in trying to
Sure.
pass something like that. However, I'm sure that they already didn't like her, and then they just kept getting reasons to not like her, I would assume.
It seems like it.
Barbara Streisand was on their hit list, apparently. So, let's get right into it with Mechastreisand. The class is at a field trip at an archaeological dig site.
Yep.
Somewhere, like this is probably supposed to be like Red Rocks or something like that. And they are digging for arrowheads, stuff like that.
Yes, stuff from like the Native Americans that were there. I would assume that's what it seems like.
Yeah, that's what it's like. The Utes. We found out how
It is
to
one of
actually
the
say what that
tribes.
is.
I don't remember.
Yeah, the Utes,
Is it
which I think
Utes?
is supposed to be like, because I was calling them the Utes, and I guess it's the Utes.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Cartman calls it boring, and rolls his eyes.
Of course.
And Mr. Garrison lifts a newspaper up and goes,
Boring.
Eric, keep quiet. I'm trying to sleep.
I thought it was funny. I don't know. I just
mean,
like
it's
Mr.
Mr. Garrison. He's
being
being an
incompetent.
ass. Yeah.
Yeah. The anthropologist is there, and he asks who left the arrowheads, and Stan's like, isn't that your job? And he says, yeah, but I want to see if you're learning something. And Stan goes, oh.
It's a leading question, yes.
Yeah.
It's how teachers work.
So yeah, exactly. The class gets to grab their own pickaxes now to dig for their own arrowheads, and the kids are enjoying this. Cartman's singing a little African-American, what's it called?
Exactly.
Like a hymn? What did they used to call those? I was going to say a slave song, but I don't think that's
know, because
right.
it's like...
Spiritual.
Is that what it is?
Like, isn't it called like a black spiritual or something?
I don't know what
like
a black spirit... I've never heard that term, but that is definitely what it is, yeah.
I wonder if it's real.
You think it's like one of the real songs that they've sang?
I don't know. It's not cited anywhere in the wiki or anything like that as being like
so then
real.
It's probably not real.
So I'm gonna assume it's not real.
It's just Cartman making stuff off the top of his head with the knowledge of, black slavery.
Sorrow songs or spirituals.
Oh, okay. So they are called spirituals. Oh, that's interesting. I feel like I've heard sorrow songs, but I don't think I've heard the term spirituals. But that's pretty neat. It's something interesting that we learned something today.
Michael, Row Your Boat Ashore.
Yes,
Jimmy
I've heard those.
Crackcorn, and all of those are This though is just.
Day is never finished. Master got me working. Someday Master set me free.
Dude, shut up, Cartman.
Honestly, they probably should have been singing like hi ho instead of.
Yes, but it's Cartman, so of course he's going to be Pip finds an arrowhead, and Cartman claims to have found it by grabbing it after Pip does
and saying, "I found it." The bully comes out.
Yes, because Cartman is a little shithead.
That's right.
And then Rachel, I think we found the way that will determine next year's fantasy draft.
I knew you were going to say this. No. No.
I would go down right away.
That would only be if I say we do this by Rochambeau.
Oh, that's true. If you say it first, then you get to kick me in the crotch. So Cartman suggests that they Rochambeau for it. Now, I have never heard of Rochambeau being this, but Rachel, what is Rochambeau, according to Cartman?
According to Cartman, it's I kick you in the nuts.
Squaw.
I kick you in the nuts.
This is when he develops saying squaw for square.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I kick you in the nuts first, then you kick me in the nuts, and whoever falls down first loses.
That's right.
Yeah.
Squaw in the nuts.
Squaw in the nuts.
In the nuts. So Cartman kicks him because he came up with it, so he goes first. And of course, Pip falls over, and he has to give Cartman the arrowhead. And then Cartman's like, I don't even want this stupid arrowhead. You can have it. He just wanted to kick Pip in the nuts.
Oh my god.
Cartman then finds another one. And he actually does find this one this time. And it is a triangle with stuff on it. Like a yellow triangle with like red trim or gold trim.
Yeah, it
and
has
there's like snakes on it and stuff.
Yeah, it just has like little symbols and everything. An actual thing.
Yes, he found an actual thing. And he throws it and Kyle picks it up and it glows in Kyle's hands. And Cartman's like, well, give me that back.
Could Kyle have used it?
That's a great question.
Ooh.
They could bring that back. Matt and Trey, if you're listening, maybe bring this back. You could like have the triangle of Zinthar or whatever come back, and Kyle was actually like the chosen one that could use it.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Cartman screams for the anthropologist, and it's thousands of years old, says the anthropologist. Like, I don't know how he can tell that just by... it's got some sort of language on it.
My assumption... I was going to say, my assumption is, by looking at it, he, like, recognizes the art style or the language or something, and he goes, wait, I know what this is from. You know, that kind of period.
Kyle keeps it, and
like,
he decides that he's going to...
Like, why would they let him keep it? This is...
Well, so, I mean, I think that they're letting him have it for a little while before it goes to the museum, because even it makes the news...
Of course.
Because they're in the small hick mountain town in Colorado.
You're going to keep saying
that doesn't have anything else to... Well, I'm sure there's hicks everywhere. And on the news, no offense, folks at home, if you're a hick, you know, we enjoy the fact that you're listening to Shelf Life. That's all. It's fine. And Rachel's like,
Don't put me under the bus. I don't want them getting mad at me.
I say it with love.
Because they like calling themselves hillbillies. I'm like, is that the same thing with
That's
rednecks?
what I think. Well, that's what I think this is. I think that's why Matt and Trey were mad at her for saying it, because they probably agreed with her, but they don't want that somebody from, from
you're an
outside
outsider,
calling them
you don't get to
hicks.
say it.
Just say you disagree with it and it's not a good law and it should,
Right.
At least if you're in a public persona. If you're me, I can say whatever the fuck I want. So if I want to say, yeah, stop with the stupid redneck anti-LGBT shit.
It's old. It was done. We don't need to do it anymore. Move on with your lives.
On the news, then, they cut to a quadriplegic Swiss man on a pony.
I love
this. Is one of my favorite running bits that they do in these early seasons.
It's great, though, where they just say something so random, and then it actually cuts to this thing that you're thinking of. Like, yes.
Now, I have a question, and I mean this when I ask you this question. Why does this work? The random, cut to this newsman, quadriplegic Swiss man on a pony. If they did this joke in Family Guy, it wouldn't work.
Why does it work here?
Yeah.
Because it's a part of the...
Would you laugh at it if it was in Family Guy? Because because
I don't laugh at
how
Family Guy
random.
anymore.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a joke where it's like,
it
how
is
random.
very random, but it's like...
And that's the joke in Family Guy all the time.
Here's the thing, though. But this is, like you said, more of a running joke with the news. So it's actually, incorporated into how the news is set up in South Park. In Family Guy, it would happen and then never be referenced ever again.
Wouldn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It means nothing. It's not actually even a part of the story. It's just a reference that they thought back on, and then it happens, and it means nothing to anything in the story whatsoever. At least this guy's doing the news.
Yeah. Yeah. You're saying it has a place in context in the story.
Yes.
Yeah. Because they can do the random celebrity shout outs and stuff too, but even then there's a reason why they're shouting out certain celebrities. They don't do cutaway gags that take up half the runtime.
Right.
But there is these occasional that was random, that's
so
why
random,
it's funny.
But funny.
But at the same time I guess your point where it's like, well, what
and it doesn't happen every 2
something
seconds.
What seems like something funny to draw? No, draw a quadriplegic Swiss man on a pony.
There you go.
I guess is kind of the idea, yeah. I'm just curious because
what should we make the news anchor this time, or what should we make this news guy do this time? Yeah.
I liked Family Guy's shtick for the first few seasons, and it grows tiresome.
Oh my God, does it?
And that's my problem with Family Guy.
It grew tiresome, and then it became the only thing that they do.
Yeah, that's also part of the problem too. Like, when it came back after cancellation and we tried watching, we were like...
I couldn't.
This doesn't work. And I don't know if... And it was because they leaned into it
They leaned
so
into
much.
that. That was the problem.
Unlike American Dad, which is just as goofy and silly and stupid.
It can get really, really weird at points. Yes.
But everything they do is for the purposes of the characters and the
development of what's
plot.
happening. Yes.
Yeah. So even
There's a
though
plot.
it can be... Yeah.
Like, if you took that's where you'd have to be like, okay, well, here, if you really wanted to see how much plot is in a Family Guy episode, you'd literally have to cut each piece that's not part of the plot, and then go, how long is it?
Yeah.
And does something happen?
Yeah.
And I think that's where we were having issues with it.
If they did this joke, it'd be hackier. It'd be hackier done, is kind of what you're saying.
And it would have lasted longer and been more awkward.
Yeah, exactly. Roger can dress up as a Swiss man on a pony.
That's right.
But it would have a purpose for the story.
Yes.
South Park can do
they'd
this
see him
joke
on the
because it's
TV
a
as
running
a Swiss
bit.
man on a story, and then they'd see him later in the same costume and have to go get him because now they know, okay, that's what he's doing.
Yeah. And here it works because it's a running bit that is not taking attention away from the plot. It's just a little mini joke inside the plot of the news has.
Odd. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. While the plot's going on. It's not centering around itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Folks at home, let us know if that makes sense to you, because I'm serious. Because when I saw this joke, I was like, I think this is funny, and I thought the other one in Pink Eye or whatever was funny, but I was like, why does it work here but not in Family Guy?
Yeah.
Which tries to do that joke as well. Anyway. So Kyle is on the news and he says like, dude, I found it. And they're like, dude. So he's talking like a little kid.
That was really cute, honestly.
And then they also interview Cartman, and Cartman's like, and I told him, Kyle, I'll kick you squat in the nuts. And I kicked him in the nuts, and then he was crying, and then you hear Kyle shout, you're a liar, Cartman. He says, hey, screw you, or whatever.
Back to you, Dave. Thanks, Tom. Those are some cute kids, except for that last one. He's a little tubby.
And I love the newsman's cut off of the story by going, thanks, Tom, cute little kids, except for that last one. That guy, that was a little tubby.
Always got to come after him for that. Always.
No, he's a little tubby. You know, tubby. Kyle puts the triangle in his room where Cartman can't get it, but Cartman will not let it go. He's like obsessed with trying to get this triangle because
he knows it's cool now, and he wants to be cool.
He knows it's cool. Like, why did he throw it in the first place? Oh, I guess because it wasn't really an arrowhead. So, like, he was like, I don't care.
He's like, I don't care what it is. Like, it's stupid. Yeah. But then once everybody was giving Kyle all the attention, he goes, well, I want that attention. I want it back.
Mm-hmm. They should have just made a deal to split it, I guess. But Kyle was like, fuck you, fat boy. And, yeah.
What? How dare you?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. You're right. You're right. So we go to the cafeteria, and Leonard Maltin comes to the school and talks to Chef. Rachel, do you know who Leonard Maltin is?
No.
He is a film critic.
No,
So again, this was just like, let's just find like some celebrity. Let's make it Leonard Maltin. I think is just kind of like a random thing. So what we're ending up finding out here is that Leonard Maltin is like the good guy, like the keeper of, he's supposed to be trying to stop Mechastreisand, I guess.
Sure. No, yeah, I guess that makes kind of sense. Like, he knows about the artifact and what it can do.
For no particular reason at all.
No.
It's like this secret, like society of celebrities that I guess are just part of this.
I think that's gotta be what it is.
Yeah. So celebrities have all sorts of secret societies, like, they eat children or whatever the conspiracy theorists say.
Yeah, there's a couple weird ones, yeah. I'm trying to think of, like, because there's...
I mean, there's real abuse in Hollywood,
for
100%.
Sure.
But, like, some of those...
But there's some of these, like, really silly
ones.
Yeah.
They're all the Illuminati and things like
where
that.
Where they've been replaced by...
Oh, yeah.
Androids.
They're all replaced by AI.
Yeah. And, like, it's like, look, this one, like, you can see when they, like, stutter out and, like...
Yeah,
look,
or like
that's the
this
moment.
one, look at the hair, it's different. It's like they got a haircut.
They like just like staring blankly off into space for a few minutes, and then like people are like, "See, AI."
So Leonard Maltin, or Chef, introduces himself to Leonard Maltin, and Leonard Maltin's like, "I know who you are." I don't know why. I guess he did his research before getting there, and asks if Barbra Streisand is there. And Chef's like, "No." And some synth music is playing in the background. I thought that was a nice touch. And he says that, good, it's not too late. And he asks where the boys are. The boys from the news report from the other day.
Right.
The boys are building a snowman, as Cartman complains about the triangle still.
I do like that they're just doing a child, like a thing.
They're just
being
doing kid stuff. They're building the snowman, and Cartman's bitching about it, or about the triangle. It's a nice reminder that they're kids.
Right.
Actually. As they're doing this, a pink helicopter lands, and out walks Barbra Streisand.
Yep.
And they of course are trying to make her look like a witch almost.
I think that's kind of what they're going with, like sallow in the cheeks and the eyes, and then she turns to the side and big nose.
Which she has a big nose.
Right.
It's famously, she has a big nose.
But like this looks like a witch's kind of a nose, honestly.
Yeah.
Because they're making fun of it.
Exactly. She asks for the news report boy, and they all point to Kyle, and they don't know who she is when she says she's Barbra Streisand, so she starts to sing, and they say it sucks, and they're like all holding their ears because they can't stand it.
Which, I mean, fair. I feel like children probably would do that.
No, yeah. Her music is not for anyone under 70, probably, at this point. It's old crooner music.
Yeah.
She's very famous and important, she says. And the boys are like, you mean like John Elway? And she doesn't know who John Elway is. And so they go, so you're really famous and important, but you don't know who John Elway is. I like that. I thought that was funny. They argue again about the triangle. The boys do. And she says, does it have two snakes joined at the middle? And they're like, yeah. And she's like, where's the triangle of Zinthar? And she kind of picks up Kyle, and she calls Stan a pissant. A pissant little prick.
Yep.
As she, like, is shaking Kyle. So, like, she's
gone
being
nuts.
aggressive. Yeah, because she really wants this triangle. And Barbrady comes by. I like how we just keep calling it a triangle. That's what they call it, but, like...
Well, what else would it be?
Call it a pyramid?
I called it, like, an artifact.
It's three-dimensional.
I don't think it is. I don't think it is pyramid. I think it's, like... I think it literally is, like, just a triangle shape.
Okay.
Because then
I can kind of picture it.
Yeah, because you can put like the two triangles, like the bottom pieces together. I think is how it works.
Because it makes a diamond. Yeah.
But it's just a triangle. It's not a pyramid.
Okay. Because we're gonna try to find this triangle as Zinthar. Barbrady comes by, sees that there's a commotion, and tells the boys to go to school. And they're like, "It's Saturday," and he's like, "Well, doesn't matter to me."
Yeah, like, what does that mean? Like, who cares?
So the boys kind of walk by, and there's like silence for a couple of seconds, and she goes, "Well," and he goes, "Well, what?" And she goes, "Don't you know who I am?" And he goes, "Well, you ain't Fiona Apple, and if you ain't Fiona Apple, I don't give a rat's ass." Fiona Apple, of course, being another... Is she another singer, actress?
I have no idea.
Fiona Apple?
I don't know. I feel like I'm like too old or too young for this now all of a sudden. Like how don't I know anybody anymore?
Yeah, she's another singer. Yeah, I mean, there's no reason for us to know who Fiona Apple is. There really isn't. So anyway, Barbrady must have a thing for Fiona Apple and must kind of know who she was, but he just didn't care.
I don't think he cared.
I guess that's the joke. Yeah. Moulton and Chef are at Kyle's house, and they're not there because they were building the snowman. And Leonard Moulton says, like, they're in grave danger if Barbra Streisand saw that news report. There's a big nose joke because he asks Chef where he thinks Barbara would be, and they cut to just show Tom's rhinoplasty for a second, and then they cut back. Did you get that one, Rachel?
You know what? Now I get it. I don't know why that didn't click at first. I get it now.
Chef says that there's a rumor that she has a $4 million condo in the ski slopes, and we cut immediately to Barbara's $4 million condo in the slopes. She's talking to her butler about the triangle, and she says that a cop showed up. He's a clever one, and this needs to be handled carefully. And she already has another triangle, and you can tell that if you put them together, it'll make the diamond of something.
Right.
And so the two of them put together, so the dawn of Zinthar will happen if you put the diamond together.
Yes, my diamonds!
No, you're right. She does want a diamond. There you go. It's a good callback, Rachel.
Thank you.
Oh, very nice. Nice. That night, Cartman tries to do a Mission Impossible his way into Kyle's room to steal the triangle. So he goes through the ceiling. I think it's supposed to be like you're not sure at first if it's
we don't know who it
Barbra
is.
Streisand or Cartman. It turns out to be Cartman. Ike catches him.
Yes.
And Kyle and Cartman's been doing this thing where he's like, telling the boys, would you tell Kyle this? Because I'm not talking to Kyle. So he's doing that thing where it's like, Rachel, will you tell Kyle that I say I'm not talking to him? That kind of thing.
Yes.
And
then he yells back, I'm not an owl, and then moving on.
Oh, yes. Thank you very much.
It's the only thing that came to mind whenever that is happening. It's like, I am not an owl.
I'm not an owl. Thank you, Emma. Appreciate it. So he does that with Ike, and he's like, Ike, will you tell Kyle I want my triangle back?
And then Ike is going, goo, gaga, goo.
Yeah, Cookie Monster. So I like that Cartman is doing it with Ike.
Yes.
So I think that was kind of cute.
Well, because he actually, knows that Kyle can hear him. They know that the other one's listening.
Yeah.
It's just
yeah.
It's
I just like when they're incorporating Ike
of
into
course.
them being little kids.
Right.
So
It's the
Kyle's
little brother.
like,
You
you
gotta
know what?
incorporate the little brother.
Yeah, every once in a while. Kyle says, take the stupid thing if it'll make you leave me alone. And he's like, there, are you happy now? And Carmen's like, hell yeah, I'm happy I got the triangle.
All right. If it means that much to you, take the stupid triangle. Huh? If it'll make you leave me alone, then just take the damn thing. Here. There. Now get out of my house, and I hope you feel really, really good about yourself. Hell yeah, dude. I got the triangle. I got the triangle. I
So this next part, Chef and Leonard Maltin are headed up the mountain, and I love that they just took a real like rear projector shot of like the mountains,
Yes,
and they just did it around the car. I thought that was kind of funny.
Like if you would if it was like a real car scene. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what's happening.
If it was real live action, they just do the exact same thing, but with their construction paper.
Exactly.
So that looks kind of funny. Leonard asks Chef, like, what do you know about Barbra Streisand? And Chef's like, well, I've always heard that she's just kind of a bitch. And Leonard Maltin says, she's more than a bitch. Her mother was a jackal. Her father was an insurance salesman. Her ambitions became to rule the universe. And if she puts together the diamond of Pantheos, she would be able to control the universe. But the diamond was split and sent to the other ends of the earth. And if she gets it back, she'll become Mechastreisand. So we learn her whole plot here while they're in the car.
Right. We get everything.
The boys are waiting at the bus stop, and Barbara comes by with glasses and a nose combo, like a Marx Brother mask.
Yeah, it has like the mustache on it. It's like the whole jokester kind of getup.
Yeah. And she says that the triangle is part of her kidney dialysis machine, and that if she doesn't get it back, she'll die. So Cartman is like, well, I'll tell you what. We'll Rochambeau for it.
Of course.
Oh, and they're like, oh yeah, some other person came by, some really, really old lady who still wishes she was still 45 with this huge nose. And she snaps at this. And then she says to come into her car, and she'll take them up to the condo where she'll kill them. I mean, she'll give them money. So the boys completely missed on that. But they're like, yeah, I'll give you some money and you give me the triangle. And Kyle's like, isn't there a rule about getting into cars and strangers? And they're like, not when there's money involved. So a good joke there.
That rule still applies. Do not take money, do not take candy, and do not help the stranger with their pet.
Yes, children or kids listening to this episode, first of all, as always, make sure that you get your parents' permission to listen to Shelf Life, especially the South Park episodes, as they are rated E for entertainment.
Not for everyone, that's for sure.
And for extra entertaining. And don't get into a car of someone you do not know.
That's right.
Period. Even if your parents have that child tracker shit on you, which I know they probably do. Okay, Rachel, I don't know what the... Oh, okay. It's like, what the hell is this? I watched this just last night. I wrote down the note, I'm a man with emotions, that's why I won't put it in my ass. And I was like, what the hell does that mean? It took me a second, but I remember what this is. So we cut to a film set, and Sidney Poitier and Sally Struthers are in this movie, and Sidney Poitier is saying the line, I'm a man with emotions, that's why I won't put it in my ass. But they cut, and they're like, okay, we're going to take like a 5-minute break or whatever.
Yep.
And he goes to his dressing room, and inside this dressing room, we get more mythology of this ancient celebrity cult thing.
It's nuts.
So there's a clam on his dresser with two
I'm assuming like an omniscient clam or something, maybe.
Yeah. Well, there's two twin Japanese ladies that tell him he needs to go get to South Park because the triangle has been discovered.
Almost
and
Minority Report-ish for some reason.
Sure, I'll give you that.
I don't know.
I mean, the clam
I don't
thing,
look. I don't know a lot about Mechagodzilla and that whole lore, anyways. So if there are two Chinese girls and a clam, then that's probably what's happening.
I don't know if this is from something or if this is just like, you know, something I thought would be funny. It's something.
It's so random.
Well, Rachel, put the Godzillas on the list. We'll watch some of those.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Hello?
Huh?
You must hurry! A young man has found the Triangle of Zinthar!
Where?
A small pissant white bread mountain town in Colorado called South Park!
Excellent.
Bizarre. I think that's kind of the point, of course. And at first I couldn't tell if Sidney Poitier was going to be evil or not, because he has like a wry smile about the fact that it's been found. Right. I almost thought he was going to try to get it himself.
It did feel that way, like he wants it.
Barbra Streisand has the boys in chains. And she goes, I'll teach you to meddle with my triangle. I didn't know if that was innuendo.
I guess it could be taken that way, sure.
Cartman is in the stretcher, and they're like, Cartman, just tell her where it is. Or Cartman, don't let her know where it is. I can't remember what they say. But he says, screw you, hippie, back to Kyle. And he tells her that he doesn't remember where it is. And, of course, she just starts singing to them to torture them.
I like how she knows that's, like, the torture, though, for them.
Yeah, I guess she's decided, like, fine, if they're not going to like my music, then I'll, like, use it against you by torturing you. Fair enough. That's what I would do. Leonard Maltin says that they have to go to Plan B because they can't find her. Plan B, it involves the band The Cure. So now
The Cure is involved.
Is it the entire band? And he goes, well, just the lead singer. And as this is happening, because Barbara is like using her powers or something like that, or singing, Leonard Maltin can feel her, and he's like, she has the boys, she's close. It must be because they're getting closer.
I assume it's almost the shitting like. It's like, yes, I feel her. I know she's here.
We're trying to like rationalize this mythology in this silly South Park episode.
Yeah. Sometimes you just can't rationalize it.
That's Shelf Life.
But we have to try.
That's why we're Shelf Life. Cartman gives it up and says it's inside his shoe. So they take it from his shoe. She has a picture of her and Satan hanging up. Do you see that?
Oh, yeah, she does.
In the background?
Yeah. I always like the little background things. It's fun.
She puts the diamond together by using the two triangles. She says something in Japanese. On the commentary, Trey said it's something like, I now become Mechastreisand or something like that.
Sure.
So it is like actual Japanese. It shoots out stuff and makes her Mechastreisand.
Yep.
Which is just Mechagodzilla.
It's just Mechagodzilla with her hair.
Yeah, with Streisand hair. Yeah, exactly. And like a Streisand nose and boobs, yeah. I did wonder do you think people know Godzilla, right?
I would assume people know Godzilla.
Godzilla is like the Incredible Hulk or the Pope, right? If Godzilla shows up at your house, you're pulling out the china again, right?
You gotta get that with the fine china for Godzilla.
Obviously. You open the door and Godzilla's there. You're ready to... You're setting a table. You're setting a seat for him or her.
I don't know how you're gonna set a table for Godzilla though. He's, a little bit bigger than. Yeah,
he might have to sit in the yard.
That's
hey,
true.
Honey, Godzilla's here. We need another seat. Godzilla, how are you doing? Or whatever. That, folks,
that's a callback.
Is called a callback. But Mechagodzilla also has to be known then, right? Like, is it a movie? There's a movie with Mechagodzilla.
There's a movie.
I think
there's a newer movie too now that has Mechagodzilla in it.
I've heard some of these newer movies are pretty good.
I'm pretty sure I watched that one. I've watched that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never watched a Godzilla movie outside of the 1998 Godzilla,
Gojira,
which we went to the theater to go see. Gojira.
Yeah. That had
Matthew Broderick
in it. Yeah.
I'm going to stop Godzilla. Yeah, we'll watch some Godzillas, including that one, because we have to.
That sounds fun.
I mean, shit, we watched Jim Cotta. Like, of course we're gonna watch Godzillas.
That's right.
She runs amok in South Park as Mechastreisand, and she just starts demolishing the city again, because that's how. That's what happens to
yeah, there was
South
like
Park.
the little news bit, and he's just like they finally have rebuilt, and then she comes and goes,
yeah,
damn it.
Yeah, after zombies and killer turkeys and
so
everything
obviously
else.
all canon. Those are all canon to the actual
everything
story.
in South Park is
That's
canon.
right.
Everything is canon.
There's nothing that is off the table here.
That's right. Everything happens in South Park, which is I like that. I like that there are no limits to this particular mythology of South Park.
Right. I love that it's like physically there's a man standing there with a microphone.
Eventually, yes.
You
at first you think it's non-diegetic and it's just these songs, and Trey explains that like if you ever watch one of these kaiju movies, there's always like a little song for each monster. And eventually you find out that it is literally a Japanese man singing this song. And the chef gets annoyed with him.
He
which
does.
I
He just like
also love.
side eyes him the whole time. Like, really? Is this necessary?
It's pretty good.
It's great.
The mayor calls in the National Guard, so now we got a full-on Godzilla movie going on. Jimbo and Ned are also involved in fighting
and
against
Ned
him.
are in like a fighter jet, like plane thing, and like are going after her.
No idea.
It's so random.
It's just there. So Leonard Maltin and Chef find the boys in the condo, but it's too late. And Maltin uses his eyes to break the locks using like heat vision or something like that.
What the heck, this man?
And he tells them, I have to, like, I'm gonna go fight her. Call Robert Smith. And they tell Robert Smith that Leonard Maltin asked him to call, and he says, "Oh, so Barbara Streisand found the triangle of Zinta."
And they're like, apparently this was just a thing for them. Like, so normal.
So the National Guard can't stop her. And in the middle of all of this, Sheila Broflovsky comes up and asks for an autograph. Because, like we said, it's kind of that... Like, if you've ever seen Coffee Talk on SNL, that bit from the 90s, they would always talk about Barbara being, like, their queen and stuff like that.
Oh, Barbara.
Yeah. Babs. And she signs it Babs. I thought that was cute.
Yeah, that was funny.
She signs it Babs. And she continues to wreak havoc. Leonard Maltin stands in front of her and shouts, like, "Barbara!" And, like, she recognizes him. And he changes into, like, a Ultraman look.
I guess? Yeah, he, like, grows into, like, a giant and, like, starts fighting her. He's, like, in a superhero costume all of a sudden.
Yeah, like a Power Ranger type suit.
Yes.
Yeah. So they begin to do battle in their mecha
I don't know if that's lore in
forms.
Godzilla. I don't know a lot about Godzilla.
No, I think
I've
that's
seen,
just
like, 2
another
movies,
like that.
right?
I think that is Ultraman. Like I think that's a different Japanese property. They're just combining.
Okay,
them.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah. So they begin to do battle, and they almost kill Kenny a couple of times. And then Kenny just decides to like.
Okay. Look, they have all these ways of Mechagodzilla killing Kenny, right? And then he goes over to a tetherball and goes, "Yeah, I'm gonna punch this." Punches it, gets tied onto the pole, and suffocates to death.
Yep. You have a problem with that, Rachel?
No, it definitely it's the thing that it.
That was another trailer mode. Do you have a problem with that, Rachel? No.
What's the word when it goes against your expectations?
Subverts.
It subverted your expectations. Because it was
did.
like, what
It
is he
did.
doing? What is he doing?
And anything that subverts your
why?
expectations is good.
Sometimes.
So they said that they thought the fans would find that funny because it subverts their expectations and it's the dumbest thing they could have done to kill him.
So
it was
dumb.
stupid. So they thought that the fans would think that was silly because
Infuriating.
there's an obvious way to kill him, and they just decide like, no, he accidentally suffocates himself. But they said that fans hated it. They were like surprised because they were like, we thought it was funny. Fans thought it was bad.
I thought
And
it
we'll
was
get back to
fine.
that
It was
comment in
very
a
just
minute.
like, what the heck?
So in flies Sidney Poitier, and he literally flies in. Like he has the ability to fly.
That's right.
And he changes himself into this giant turtle.
That's right. Now we have. I do think there is a giant turtle.
I think there is a giant turtle
Monster.
in Godzilla, yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
This is where we find out that there's literally a Japanese man singing because he's going, Sidney Poitier, Sidney Poitier. She throws him over a mountain, and he's never seen again.
That's it.
Because I love the fact that he also spins as a turtle. He's got, like, rocket packs on his...
Right.
In, like...
It looks nuts. And then all of a sudden, that's it. We don't get to really see anything else happen.
And then she takes out Leonard Maltin. And then Robert Smith shows up. And he's got a little walkie-talkie, and he tells the boys... So, Rachel, I guess we have to explain this, because I have never, I don't think, listened to The Cure.
I haven't
Have you
either.
ever listened to The Cure? Okay.
No.
So,
As far as I know. I may have, and I just don't know I have.
So,
now I have to
Robert
go listen to
Smith
The Cure.
is...
Hold on. Oh. Yes, I have listened to The Cure. I know Friday I'm in Love. I like that song.
Okay.
Yeah, you know that one.
Do I? I
Here,
don't know if
hold
I
on.
do.
Care if Monday's blue, Tuesday's blue, and Wednesday too. Thursday, I don't care about you, but Friday, I'm in love.
Okay. I'm sure
I know
I would
that one.
recognize it.
Yeah. I know that one.
So
yes, I have listened to The Cure. Go on, Kevin.
yes. So all right, you have listened to The Cure. Robert Smith and The Cure are like alternative. I thought they were almost like a goth band, but I think it's just because
Almost
of the way that
a little
they
bit.
look.
A little gothic, but more like an alternative, like punk rock, maybe. I feel like I just put like three different things together that don't actually go together, but that's also fine. That's why they're
This was
the way they are.
another one where they were told they could get any celebrity they wanted, and they were like, well, I gotta get Robert Smith, because they apparently they love The Cure. So they got Robert Smith, and that's why they make him into like the hero here.
I love it.
So Robert Smith gives them a walkie-talkie so that they can listen to him as he fights Barbara Streisand.
Right.
He changes into a butterfly, so I think he's supposed to be Mothra.
I was gonna say, isn't he a moth? Like
Okay, moth for
giant
Mothra,
moth.
whatever.
I think he is Mothra at that point. Yeah.
He's got sonic powers that hurt Babs.
Right. And then, she's like, what, screams back at him? Or
screams
sings?
it back, yeah.
Yeah.
Leonard Maltin has gotten back into his human form, and he tells them to walkie-talkie into Robert Smith to hit her in the nose. That's her weak spot. So he punches her in the nose using like a
His arm like detaches and like
a detachable
flies
arm.
over
Thank you.
and
I couldn't
hits
think of the
him.
word.
Yeah.
Yeah. The diamond falls out. So now they're like, she must be powerless. Take her out.
Right.
So he does. He does this by throwing her into space.
Oh yeah.
Where she blows up.
Beautiful.
And that is the end of the Mechastreisand monster. So they're all celebrating Robert Smith. Our savior, Jesus says about Robert Smith.
And then he just walks off into the sunset.
Well, right before walking off into the sunset, though, he's like, I'll take my walkie-talkie. And
yeah, that's right.
Cartman's like, well, I want the walkie-talkie. And he says, well, I'll tell you what. I'll Rochambeau you for it. And he kicks Cartman in the nuts.
And then just walks away. I don't even think he
Then he
takes
walks
the
off
walkie-talkie. He just
No,
leaves.
he doesn't even take the walkie-talkie. He just leaves.
He goes, that was enough.
Kyle says Disintegration is the best album ever. Like you're saying, maybe I know these songs?
You
I don't
probably know the songs, and it's just not gonna be there.
We've found a thing that Rachel's like, yep, I know all this, and I don't have a clue.
I don't know all
about
this. I knew the one
No, I
song
know.
that I found quick. Like now I'm like trying to find that album.
When my nephews had seen it, they worshipped me, but kept asking, what is a disintegration, Uncle Bob? I simply answered it was something I had made a long time ago. Still funny how everything I do, travel, experiencing so many things, having interesting meetings, making good selling records, means nothing to them, while since my appearance in South Park, I'm immortal and famous to them. Bastards.
I love that. That's funny.
I'm trying to find Disintegration.
Oh, I think you'd know this song too.
Lullaby? Pictures of You? Love Song? I'm sure I would know some of these. Anyway.
I'm telling you, I know Friday I'm in Love. That's the one that I definitely 100% know.
You sounded like the baby Sinclair for a second there. So the boys say they have to get rid of the triangles, and they literally just throw them in like a waste
That's why they can come back.
basket.
That's why they can come back.
That's why they could come back. Yeah, we could definitely do a sequel. Mechastreisand does come back in an infamous episode we'll do way down the line, and hopefully it will be available by then. Their 200th and 201st episode.
Wow.
We got a ways to go. We're on
Yeah, we
episode
do.
12. So we got a ways to go. They learned something today. They learned that people that want power always end up dead in the end. And as they were learning something today, they didn't realize that Ike was digging through the trash, and he picks
right.
out the diamond, and he becomes Mecha Ike.
Mecha Ike.
And that is how Mechastreisand ends. Rachel. What did you think of Mechastreisand, and did you learn anything today?
Oh, now I gotta think if I learned something today.
I forgot to do that with Tom's
I
Rhinoplasty.
didn't learn anything in that one. This one was also fine, I think. It had a few more moments.
You can tell the truth. If you didn't like it, say you didn't like it.
No, I think it had a few more moments. I liked that it was kind of based on like the whole like Godzilla, Mechagodzilla stuff. It was a little weird at points, and because I don't like know everybody, it was like, okay, what is happening like half the time? But it was interesting and it was kind of funny, and I liked your take on it, where it's the conspiracy theory with like celebrities. This is one of their crazy conspiracy theories, which is kind of fun. I like that part of it, is that they're all like these crazy mecha monsters and they have to stop Barbra Streisand from getting the triangle.
Yes. Maybe there's a new celebrity that wants the diamond.
Ooh, I'd
to become
love
mecha
it.
whatever.
Yes. Yeah. But it's okay.
Yeah,
I mean, it wasn't my favorite watching it, but
Yeah.
like it's fine.
So Matt and Trey again thought that this one was going to be very funny. They really liked this one, and then they said people didn't really like this one. They thought it was one of the weaker ones, and the internet for the most part still agrees with that and doesn't think that it's great. I don't know. I like this one. I think this one is fun.
It is fun.
It's
it's weird.
Stupid,
It's stupid and fun. Yeah.
But I think it's fun. I think people got sick of the Barbra Streisand jokes because they were like one note, but they're just I didn't think that they were like overly done or anything like that.
I didn't think it was overly done. No.
And they didn't like the Kenny death, and it's like, guys,
the Kenny death was a little. It was
joke.
just so like what? But yeah.
But I think this one's fun. I don't see why people have it as low rated as they do compared to some of the other episodes in the season, maybe. But I don't know. It's just me. So we'll see.
I probably wouldn't have it as low as like the internet. I have a feeling I disagree with that as well.
Yeah.
But
I am very interested in seeing what our rankings are, Rachel, because
I hate doing
we've done
rankings.
this is our
So
fourth
hard.
show that we're getting through the season 1 of. The thing that I learned, by the way, I forgot to mention this, when Leonard Maltin becomes Mecha Maltin, he says "kita kita chudi" or something like that. I'm sure I butchered it. Our Japanese friends can correct me.
Hopefully you didn't say something really inappropriate.
No, I don't think so, because
The way you say something, it could become very inappropriate.
that's true. I did not mean any offense if I said something inappropriate, and I apologize to the
They're
country
probably
and
just
people
laughing
of Japan.
at you, honestly. Go on.
According to Trey Parker on the commentary, that term is something that people say, like, pull my finger.
Oh.
Like, it's their equivalent of saying they're about to fart.
Ridiculous.
So it literally
So it is
means
something
like
inappropriate.
it literally means like something to like smell a tulip or something like that.
Oh,
So
interesting.
it's
I
like
love when it's like
the equivalent,
the weird translation when it's like this is exactly what it means.
but the way that they say it, it's supposed to be like a pull my finger kind of thing. So there you go. That's what I learned. That's what Trey Parker said it was, so I'm blaming him. Rachel's looking up kita kita chewed it or whatever he says at that point to see if she can find it.
See, that's the funny thing is I never remembered the Mechastreisand.
You didn't remember this one?
Not at all. Like I always remember seeing the Mechastreisand in like the opening and stuff, but which one? When who becomes big?
Leonard Maltin.
That's the one that turns into a Power Ranger.
Mm-hmm.
Gibberish.
So folks at home, please let us know what he said and what that means. If you're one of our Japanese audience members or someone that knows Japanese. Anyway, that was Mechastreisand, the 12th episode of South Park, which means, Rachel, when we come back after the break, we will finally finish South Park, Season 1, with Cartman's mom is Dirty Slut. When we come back.
Tomorrow, it's the original special that everyone fell for, full of little surprises. You'll laugh till your face hurts and chuckle till you buckle. See amazing talent.
You just can't hide that kind of charisma.
It's The Living End, the original one-hour special that started it all. America's funniest home videos. Then,
I'm Alan Thicke. Which was the longest-running medical series of all time?
get the pencils and paper and get ready to test your TV IQ.
Which of these couples on L.A. Law has yet to go all the way?
Join Alan Thicke for an all-new Tube Test 2 tomorrow.
And we're back with the... Rachel didn't like that one.
It just sounded weird on my end. It sounded like,
With the-
and I was like, okay, why did
Alright.
it sound like that?
I'll say it again, just in case that comes off crazy. And we're back with the final episode of South Park Season 1. Rachel, what is the final episode of South Park I can't say it. What is the final episode of South Park Season 1? And what happens in this episode?
The 13th episode of South Park Season 1 is Cartman's mom is a dirty slut.
You said it.
I said
You
it.
said it. Women empowering women here, Rachel.
Yeah, well,
Do
she
not-
seems, she
do
doesn't seem
not-
like she's like sad about her lifestyle. She's
Not
she's
at
like,
all.
yeah, this is
She's
fine.
very sex positive.
That's right.
She's very progressive.
Yeah.
Don't slut shame her. Actually, now hang on.
I don't even know
Maybe
if they
we-
really do. I guess they kind of do. They
Folks
do.
at home, in particular women at home, promiscuous women at home, you guys got to take the name slut back. Make it into like a good thing. Like, oh, she's a slut. I mean, why can't it be? It means that she likes to have a good time.
I guess.
I'm sorry I cut you off to make a stupid joke. What were you going to say?
Anyways, so Cartman's mom is a slut is about Cartman questioning who his father is and going through, I guess, jumping through hoops to try to find out.
Yes. He's going through a crisis of trying to find... He wants to know who his dad is. He wants to know... It's almost like he wants to know his...
He's
his
like culture,
background,
his heritage
yeah.
type of thing.
Yeah, his heritage
It seems
type
like
of thing.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. More so than like who his dad is. He almost wants to know more like what he's a part of, to be
Right.
part of something.
Yes.
But because of Leanne Cartman's promiscuity, he's having a difficult time trying to figure that out. So yes,
And I don't think she's ever really thought about it.
I don't think she
To be
has.
quite
I don't think she's ever thought that it matters. So this episode aired on February 25th, 1998. It is the finale of season 1. It's a big cliffhanger at the end of this one, Rachel. The
It
first
is,
time that they
spoiler
decided
alert.
to do
It's a cliffhanger.
Cliffhanger. Yeah. Well, and so they were talking about this in their commentary where they realized that the next day that they were scheduled to do a episode was April Fool's Day.
Oh my god.
They thought it would be funny, and they thought all the South Park fans would get it if they left the show on a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
And they were like, and they didn't really think that anybody would care about who this cartoon character's father was.
I mean, but but it is kind of intriguing.
I suppose. We'll get to the answer whenever we cover season 2 of South Park. They retcon the answer way further down the line in episode 201, which is a very good episode that can no longer be seen because of terrorists. But we'll find it if we need to at some point if we get to episode 201 of South Park. You don't remember this? So I don't even know if it's on DVDs. I don't know if you can get it at all. Is it on Max?
I'm gonna look.
I don't know what season it is.
6th episode of the 14th season. Whoa, it wasn't that long ago. No, it can't be.
2010 or so, maybe? It's literally called 201, I thought.
Oh, is it? It's actually
Yeah.
called The Number, because I don't see it here in episode or season 14, because it says the 14th season.
Yeah.
Well, neither of those are here.
They're not there.
No.
That's funny. You can get the DVD on Amazon. I don't see, all of the people that are... 200 and 201 aren't even on the DVD.
They don't even put them on the DVD?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Because they're good episodes. I remember liking them. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. Oh, wait, here
It's
we go.
weird
South
that
Park
you
fandom.
can't get them at all, though. That seems wrong.
The complete
me.
14th season is a Blu-ray DVD release, includes all 14 episodes, and that one includes 200 and 201.
Okay.
So there
Kevin's
are.
like, I'm gonna go fucking buy it right now.
Well, that's like I
Don't
wonder if
tell
like
me.
you have to get them at because like
'cause
it feels like some of them had it and some of them don't. So they retcon that eventually. Rachel, do you remember who the dad turns out to be?
I didn't, and then I was reminded. And then I was like, oh yeah, and it's weird.
Yeah. So I
but it's
like the
purposely
retcon.
weird. So I mean,
It's purposely weird because it's South Park, sure. And they retcon it to be. Do you remember who Scott Tenorman is?
I don't.
Okay. We'll get to that episode eventually too, and then we'll get to the retcon whenever we have to do 200 and 201. So that'll be, I'm sure, far down the line.
Oh, I would imagine.
But in any event, we are going to find out who Cartman's dad is. So one interesting thing before we get into it, Rachel, is there's an unaired clip there was a clip or a scene from the pilot episode.
Okay.
Where they cut out or was part of like the part of the pilot that didn't make it to air, and it was Cartman at a dinner table with his mom, his dad, and his sister.
Oh.
And Comedy Central came back and said, you already have bigger families with the rest of the boys. Cartman doesn't also need a big family.
Okay.
So they cut the dad and the sister. It helps flesh out Cartman so much more.
It
that
does, though.
You know what I mean?
It does, yeah. I think it gives him more background, more personality, more all of that interest. Yeah. It's very rounded.
It's interesting because I feel like you always hear, oh, the frickin' studio. The studio interfered, the studio interfered, the studio interfered. And I think in most cases that's probably true. But if that's true, that the studio said, like, no, cut it back. The boys all have big families, make his small.
Right.
That's a good note because I think it works.
Yes.
Especially well for a character like Cartman, who is like
Absolutely.
greedy and selfish and pig-headed, and he's partly that way because Leanne only has him to dote upon.
Right, so she completely just everything goes to him. She just loves everything for him and does everything for him.
Sees no issues with him or anything like that. And
right.
Part of that is because they're kind of together in this, and she views him as like, well, we'll get to that in the Caesar Milan episode where like she views him as like it's a codependency kind of thing.
Yes.
So let us jump right in to the final episode of season 1 of South Park called Cartman's Mom is a Dirty
Slut.
Okay. So we start at the bus stop and Cartman is not there, and the boys say that he has missed 3 days in a row. So they're like, maybe we should go find out what's wrong with him. Like, is he sick? Like, what's going on? Why isn't he here?
Right.
So I would have assumed, Rachel, I don't know. I don't think I've ever done this. If a friend didn't show up at school, I just assumed he was sick. And, like, that was the end of it.
Typically would assume sick. I've called
maybe
friends
find
before,
out,
especially seeing if they need, like, homework or something.
Sure. 3 days is probably, like, time for,
3 days is long.
Hey, what's going on?
Yeah, especially if, like, teacher or other friends haven't said anything, like nobody knows what's going on with so and so. Well, now I'm gonna call them, landline call them on the phone and see what's going on.
I guess that's fair because at that point you're thinking, is it strep throat or a flu or something? Yeah. And do they need homework? For sure. So they decide they're gonna go over and see what's wrong with him, and Miss Crabtree, the bus driver, pulls up and tells them to get in. And as usual, the running gag, of course, is that they say something offensive to the bus driver, and then the bus driver says, "What did you say?" Right. And they say something banal or benign. And then, but this time, Stan just calls her a fat, ugly bitch, and she says, "What did you say?" Oh, sorry, go ahead.
It. And then he repeats it. Yeah. He just says the exact same thing again.
Oh. And lets them not go on the bus. So he's like, I always wondered if that was going to work. They stop at Cartman's house, and his mom says that he's been feeling a little under the weather. Maybe, like, they can cheer him up. Yeah. Which is interesting because of what we find him doing. Cartman's mom is an interesting head case. Because she's oblivious to everything going on around her.
Kind of.
Like, this is... clearly, Cartman is looking for some guidance or something, and she just does not have it in her to, like, figure this out.
I'm wondering too if she's like waiting for him to ask
to
for help.
tell her.
Like,
sure.
Like, I'll let him try to like deal with his own stuff for a little while, and then like if he really wants something, then he'll come to me.
That is giving Mrs. Cartman quite a bit of credit, Rachel.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
So the boys go in the backyard. Cartman's there. He's having a tea party with his stuffed animals, and they're all there. Polly Prissy Pants, Peter Panda, Rumpatumpskin, Clyde Frog. I love all of
great.
I love all of Cartman's stuffed animals, and they all come back at some point.
It's very cute.
I don't quite remember where I know Clyde Frog comes back quite a bit. Rumpatumpskin, I think, does too. Peter Panda, I don't remember seeing quite a lot.
Well, Peter Panda, I think, becomes
Sexual
a bigger
harassment panda?
Yeah. I think that's what that one becomes. Yeah. Because that's all it really. I look at it and I'm just like, sexual harassment panda is all I can think. Like.
and Polly Prissy Pants, I know, has been in some other stuff too.
Do you think Polly Prissy Pants was his mom's doll and then she gave it to him?
I could see that. I feel like Clyde Frog too could have been.
Because they just seem like
they
older
all
toys.
could have been.
I'm just thinking like older toys, you know?
Yeah, I feel like they're all older. I feel like Rumpatumpskin is definitely his.
Yes. And I think the panda too.
Yes. Yeah, so there's a panda, a frog, what would you call, what's like a Miss Muffet type of character is Polly Prissy Pants?
Yeah, she looks like a Miss Muffet with like button eyes and stuff.
Yeah.
That's why I think she kind of reminds me of Raggedy Ann.
Sure.
But like a Miss Muffet Raggedy Ann.
Yeah. And Rumpatumpskin is a dragon. Like a little pink dragon.
This little like round purpley pink dragon. It's wonderful.
They're like, let's go make fun of him because they're like, this is hilarious. This is pretty fucked up, I think is what Stan says. And Kyle's like, well, now we have to go make fun of him. Like, this is hilarious to them because he's having this. Well, and it's not just that he's having the tea party with stuffed animals. That's fine. Who hasn't? Sure. But it's that he's looking for validation.
Yeah, they're all like giving him compliments.
Yes.
And telling him how good he is and that he's like a good kid.
He's not fat at all, Cartman. Oh, right? Thank you, Polly Prissy Pants. What do you think of me, Clyde Frog? I think that's your awesome. Like he's looking for validation from all of them.
Yes. So it is kind of like a cute, like sad type of thing because it is kind of it's really giving us more sides to Cartman.
Yes, it's a layer that people probably were not prepared for, that he has like feelings.
Yes.
So Stan says instead of making fun of him, maybe they should get him some help.
Because it just doesn't feel right. Something doesn't feel right to him.
Yeah. So they go to the counselor. So Counselor Mackey comes in, and they're in the counselor's office. And they're trying to figure out what could possibly be bothering him, because there's clearly something bothering him, okay?
Well, my favorite line from this is like, oh, well, there's a news flash. Like, yeah, we all know something's wrong with Cartman. It's like, oh my God.
That.
Yeah, I thought it was hilarious.
So, in the background this entire time,
it's great.
You see posters celebrating fatherhood, or in particular, having a father.
Well, another one also says that if you don't have a dad, you're a bastard. But
I was like kind of waiting for that one to be revealed.
Oh, I'm
it's
sorry.
Like right there because it says like dads are dandy.
Yes.
And it says like Father Sunday is coming up or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah. And then the one poster says if you don't have a dad, you're a bastard. And I really wish that it said it in like big font, like you're a bastard, like just violently angry about it. So Mackie is like, well, of course, and you think if he's gonna say something about like not having a dad.
Yeah, because he like looks to the poster almost. You think he's really gonna say, and then no, here's a camera.
No, he says, we'll use my video camera and you can study him psychologically and find out what's wrong, guy.
Because it's totally legal.
Well, that's what Stan and Kyle are like, is this legal? And he goes, oh, hell yes.
No, it is not.
Yeah, I don't think okay.
I don't think you're supposed to be recording something without their knowledge.
That's gotta be true, right? Unless you're like a public figure. Like, If you film somebody...
If you're in a public space,
okay.
technically you can be recorded, but he's in a private space.
He's
in his backyard. You can't just like record somebody without them knowing that you're being recorded.
Right. Yes, I would think that is absolutely true.
Yeah.
So they go back to Cartman's backyard and they film him. And they talk about how hilarious... This is going to be the funniest video ever. I don't think it's that funny.
It's not. It's just kind of cute. It's a kid playing with his toys. Like...
Yeah.
It seems so normal.
Yeah, that's what I couldn't understand why the boys think that this is totally fucked up.
They think it's funny and fucked up because, one, it's Cartman, big, big, tough Cartman, and then he's going, oh, hi, Miss Priss Pants, and, like, doing, like, a little tea party. It's very not his style.
Sure.
So I think
guess
that's
the other
what
thing
they're
is
doing.
He's got to be kind of depressed because he doesn't want to... Like, Cartman never wants to go to school. He's, like, more just feeling down.
Yeah, I think he's feeling very, like, just down and disconnected from the world right now.
Yeah.
Which is sad. It's like, you just want to give that
Rachel
butterball a big
Rachel doesn't want to
hug.
feel sympathy for the big, fat-ass bigot Cartman.
He's an ass, but this episode makes me want to give him a big hug.
Thank you, Rachel. Oh, that's so nice of you. Here, you can have cake and ice cream now.
I'll take that cake and ice cream. Thank you, Cartman.
Cartman and his mom are having dinner, and Cartman fights with the kitty about his corned beef cabbage.
Which is adorable, because it's just so
Rachel,
dumb. Yeah.
Did you recognize the voice of the kitty?
No.
Do you want to take any guesses as to who voiced
you
Kitty?
want me to guess who voiced a cat?
Yeah.
Is this another one of their, like, we got a celebrity to play a cat?
Yes.
No idea.
You're never gonna guess it. It's
No.
That is Jay Leno playing that cat.
Obviously.
Yeah, it sounds just like Jay Leno. Come on. Meow. Yeah, meow. We got a wonderful show for you tonight. We got.
I mean, you gotta put a microphone in front of its face, maybe, and have it doing terrible stand-up at night.
Well,
sure.
yeah, let's see what is. You hear about this? You see this? Meow. See? Same thing. So he asks his mom. And
I like how
enjoy...
I like how they're having a giant ham and a giant turkey together.
Well,
you
know.
You
Gotta, yeah.
Anyways.
Gotta plump him up. He's skin and bones. He asks his mom about his dad.
Yes.
And he doesn't want to outright ask it because I think he's like he doesn't know what his mom's reaction
He feels a little
will be.
uncomfortable. Yeah, because he doesn't know if it like bothers her to talk about dad because she never does.
Because he doesn't know. He technically doesn't know if his dad is dead. Like
He
I
knows
think that's
nothing.
the thing.
He knows literally nothing about him because she doesn't talk about a dad at all. It's just the two of them. Period.
Right. Well, because he was an immaculate conception.
It seems that way.
Sort of. So Cartman approaches it this way by kind of saying, like, okay, you know how Stan has a dad, and Kyle has a dad, and Kenny has a dad?
Like, my friends have dads, you know?
Mm-hmm.
She's like, uh-huh, okay.
And there's
like,
this
what's
great,
your question?
there's this great pause, and it goes from Cartman to his mom to the cat.
Yes! And like eventually his mom's face does change, and it's kind of like, are you, like, go on?
So he finally says, like, who's my dad? And she doesn't get it. She does not get it. So instead, she says, well, sometimes...
Well, you see, Eric, sometimes when a man and a woman are attracted to each other, they want to be close to each other.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes the man puts his hoo-hoo dilly in the woman's cha-cha.
So who put his hoo-hoo dilly in your cha-cha?
Which is, kids listening at home, that is what happens. A hoo-hoo dilly goes in a cha-cha, and their man chowder, which we'll learn about
slow,
later.
You know.
What?
Cha-cha real slow is all that came to mind.
So Cartman's like, well, who put their hoo-hoo dilly in your cha-cha? So
Fair question.
We find out quite a many. This prompts Cartman's mom to tell him the story of his father. And it starts at the 12th annual Drunken Barn Dance, a whole 9 years previously. So
yes.
Okay, we're going 9 years previously. She was young and naive, and she was ready to just kind of party, and she hadn't started yet. She hadn't started yet. What did I write down? She hadn't started yet.
Okay, well, she drinks this gigantic thing of alcohol, and this guy's like, wow, I've never seen that. Like, you're amazing. And she's like, I haven't even started yet. And then, like,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you for deciphering my notes.
You're welcome.
And she offers Officer Barbrady her cookies.
Oh, yeah.
Which she accepts. Except it's literally just cookies.
You know, cookies.
Oh,
She baked cookies.
Yes. So they're having a good time, all of the rednecks in South Park, and they decide to do the drunken barn dance, and they redneck dance around, and somebody catches her eyes, and there you are, like a throbbing star. So one of the gags that I quite enjoyed throughout this episode is that every time it goes back to the past, it does a parody of Celine Dion's Heart Will Go On.
Oh my god.
Because Titanic was popular, because it
Of
just had
course.
come out. So that's the there you are. And you think, they do a pretty good job of making a red herring out of Jimbo.
Yes.
Because they keep
they
it
have
on
it, like,
Jimbo.
focused.
But then they kind of back off for a second, or like the sea kind of parts, and you see Chief Running Water.
Yes.
So she says, you know, that
he's in the background.
was just standing there in the background.
Yes.
So Chief Running Water, she goes up to him.
Oh, Chief, I want your hot man chowder.
Whoa, hello.
Did you like that one, Rachel?
Hot man chowder? Yeah, that's a thought right there.
So, according to Matt and Trey, they originally had in the script, the line was, I want you inside me.
Oh, maybe it's a little too much.
Comedy Central said that was too much. So they said, all right, fine. We'll make it even grosser. I want your hot man chowder.
Yep, there it is. And there it is.
I like Chief Running Water's his reaction to this, where he's like, whoa!
Yeah, like, it's came out a little strong there.
So she says, like, the next morning she was pregnant with Cartman. Now, I don't know how she could have determined, especially with the way that Leanne got around back in the day, that she was definitely pregnant from that drunken barn dance. I mean, I guess technically you can only get pregnant at certain times of the month anyway.
Well, no, you can get pregnant any time in the month.
But isn't it more likely than...
Yeah, the likelihood is higher.
Yeah.
That's correct, yes. But I mean, even if she knew, if they go, oh, you're so many weeks along, then she can kind of go back and go, oh, well, the barn night was then, so it was probably that.
Yeah.
Because I was probably hungover the next day.
Right. And she blacked out after she went and had a roll in the hay with Chief Running Water. So she
Right.
must have just assumed that, like, yeah.
That's my assumption, yeah.
And he's on the reservation, so Cartman is like, he's got to get to that reservation to meet his dad.
Mm-hmm.
The boys, in the meantime, see a commercial for Not Without My Anus, which will come back
Oh my god.
shortly on South Park Season 2, because this, again, was Trey and Matt's plan, was to show Not Without My Anus
Before
in full.
anything else, yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever watched that episode, Rachel?
I don't remember. I do not recall.
I think I've watched it once from the DVD, and it is... I don't know how they got 22 minutes out of it. It's like, do you remember that episode where Oprah's vagina and asshole talk to each other?
Yeah, I think I actually do. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that episode.
All right, well,
Where you're
that's
like,
gonna
what the
happen.
fuck am I watching? Yeah. His grandpa turns on Bob Saget because he wants to watch the Bob Saget show. Stan's grandpa turns on the Bob Saget show because he wants to
Right.
watch it.
Which is
and
pretty
they do...
much just America's Funniest Home Video.
Yeah, I mean, they call it America's Stupidest Home Videos.
Same idea.
Rachel, do you remember ever watching America's Funniest Home Videos?
Yes, I do.
Do you remember liking it as a kid? I remember not even liking it as a kid.
On. I feel like it was just a thing to have on, and sometimes there were cute animals, and I liked seeing the cute animals, and that was about it.
I guess the one thing we can say is America's Funniest Home Videos is so obsolete today because of the internet.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
If you want to watch a funny video, just turn on the internet.
Right.
But at the time, I guess this is how everybody got their memes and shit and watched people get
Sure.
kicked in the nuts, was America's Funniest Home Videos.
Yeah.
I remember as a kid not even liking it.
I wasn't a big fan. I just liked getting to see the animals, honestly.
And like Bob Saget sucked, rest in peace. He was awful on it.
He was a little boring. He was a little flat. Yeah. But I mean, I think that's just him in general, but
at least as the persona of Danny Tanner.
Oh yeah, sure.
The boys say that he is almost as bad as that guy on Full House.
Ha 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 ha. Get it? I do also like that Grandpa is constantly holding a noose.
He's got the noose, just in case he needs to finish the job.
It's ridiculous.
Well, you know.
So weird.
He can do it himself. He just doesn't want... He knows not to bother Stan and his friends with it anymore.
Yes, that's true.
Cartman stops by, and he's dressed like a naive American.
I do think it's funny that he says naive. I'll give you that one.
he wants to borrow Stan's bike to go to the reservation. I don't know why he can't use his bike.
Maybe he doesn't have one, or it's broken or something. Tires flat. I don't know.
I can't get on my bike, you guys, because I'm so fat, you guys.
Well, so if he's gonna get on Stan's bike, I mean...
Yeah. So Stan lets him borrow it, and the boys get this idea that, like, Jesus, we could send the video in because Cartman's acting so strange because he hasn't told them why he needs to go to the reservation or anything. So they're like, man, Cartman's acting weird. I bet we could win the $10,000 for America's Funniest Home Videos if we
use that video
send in the video of him at the tea party.
Right.
Rather than sending it to Mr. Mackey.
Yeah. I don't even know if Mr. Mackey cares at this point.
Oh, I think he probably forgot.
He probably forgot,
He probably doesn't even remember.
Yeah.
Cartman is at the reservation, and Chief Running Water is there, and he's like, oh, wait, no. Because, like, he's, like, gets worried for a minute, and then he's like, no, I'm Eric Cartman, I'm Leanne Cartman's son. And he's like, oh, Cartman.
Oh, so somebody else he might have an issue with, but not Cartman, at least.
Right, yeah. Like, this little fat white boy showed up at the reservation.
It's like, oh, no, wait a minute.
I didn't even think about that, Rachel. That's kind of funny.
I have a feeling there's another child out there for Chief Running Water.
Are you saying that Chief Running Water is a dirty slut?
He might be. He might be.
Is he a fugly slut, though?
No, I wouldn't go that far.
I think he's got the best man chowder in the town.
Oh, I
from what we
don't know
can
if
tell.
I like you saying that, but okay.
So there's an E on the South Park episodes for a reason.
Yep. Yes, there is. Man
and
chowder.
I'm using those. Rachel's gonna. I do the edits for the South Park episodes, folks.
It's true.
Rachel's gonna go in special and bleep all of that out.
I'm not that bad.
Because bleeps can be funny.
Bleeps can actually be very funny if
They
they're
can be
used
funny.
properly. Absolutely.
Yeah. So Chief Running Water says that Cartman's mom is one that we call Bear with wide canyon.
I like how I feel like he's trying to say it nicely at first.
He's absolutely trying to say it nicely. He wants Cartman to get it so that he doesn't have to flat out say it about his mom.
Because she's a doe who cannot keep legs together.
That's right. And Cartman doesn't quite get it.
That one's kind of funny. I like that one, actually. I like the doe versus the bear. Yeah.
Bear with wide canyon, though. I mean,
oh, no, that's actually pretty good. The wide canyon's great. Yeah.
So Cartman doesn't get it, so he just flat out says,
I'm not your father.
But my mom says you were the guy she was with.
Kid, I hate to break this to you, but your mother is what we Native Americans refer to as Bear with wide canyon.
What do you mean?
She is doe who cannot keep legs together.
Huh?
Your mom's a slut.
He explains that they were rolling in the hay and they were about to do something. This is actually where he says she wants her, the hot man chowder.
That's right.
As they're rolling in the hay, there you are, like a throbbing star. She sees Chef.
Yep. Young Chef.
Young
I guess
Chef.
It's like only 9 years, but still young Chef.
Yeah, a younger Chef. So she asks what he's doing in this town, and Chef says that he wants to open a restaurant. And I thought, aw, poor Chef. He didn't get to open up that restaurant.
Yeah, they never come back to that, do they? They never let him, actually open up something. I kind of wish they did.
Yes, Chef's happy, though. I think he's learned to just kind of... He enjoys being the town... I mean, Chef is a dirty slut. So, Chef is there, and
he
he
is
just
very
gets
much
to be...
so a dirty slut as well, yes.
Yeah, and he gets to be the slut of the town while being the chef, and I think he's fine with that.
Yes.
However, at this point, we learn that his ambitions are to open up a restaurant in town. And Cartman's mom says, well, would you care to put your tongue in my mouth?
Yep.
And then
they do. And then they proceed to do so. Yes. Oh, please, no. God, no. Oh, Lordy.
So that was the last that Chief Running Waters saw. So Cartman's like, so Chef is my dad. And he's like, that's what I saw. Like, that was the last I saw that night.
Right.
And Cartman says that he can't believe it. He's a black African American.
Yep, there he is.
Which is technically accurate, because there could be white African Americans.
That's true. That's actually very true. But I feel like he is very excited about like the background culture that he's like finding out. Like, oh, cool, I'm Native American, or as he says, naive American, or oh, cool, I'm a black like African American. Like, wow, that's neat. Like, I can't believe it.
Yeah, you know what? Now that you said that, yes, because like, of course, part of the joke is that he's dressing up in very stereotypical gear and talking very stereotypically as he like meets with the boys. But I think he's trying to embrace his roots.
Yes,
that's actually what I think
he's actually trying to embrace it, and he's trying to like when
he's
he meets his
like
father, he's like, look, I look at it. I am like I'm your son. Like, how cool is that? Like, I feel like that is exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, he's not quite as evil as he will become, where he tries to commit genocide of all non-gingers,
right?
Because he thinks he's a ginger, but he doesn't Magneto himself yet, but.
Absolutely.
Yes, like, I think he actually is trying to just connect with something.
Exactly.
So the boys are starting a go-kart. And in particular, Kenny is
I'm glad they
starting
just
a go-kart.
have this happening. There's just a go-kart now. Okay.
Yeah. No reason.
No reason.
So
Kenny's
trying to start this go-kart, and Kyle and Stan are talking about how they're going to have to actually watch that Bob Saget show to see if they won, which they're not happy about that.
Of course not. Nobody.
Cartman shows up. He's got some stereotypical African-American paraphernalia.
Yes.
He's got a big clock. He's wearing like a red jumpsuit.
Jumpsuit, yeah.
Or tracksuit. Big flat top hair.
Yes.
Surprised he wasn't in blackface a bit.
I feel like that would have been too much.
Too much? Yeah.
Because he, like, I don't, especially with us saying, like, oh, he's trying to embrace it. I don't know if he would be like, let me put on makeup to make myself look more like him. This is just what he looks like, so.
If you believe, like we do, that Cartman's being a little bit innocent here and actually trying to, then yeah, then it would have been too much. Because he wouldn't be doing it as a joke. He's doing it truly thinking, oh, I'm black. I'm trying to act or, like, appear.
Or, like, look it. Like, I can do the things that I think a black person is.
Right.
Which,
regardless if he's right or wrong, that's
right.
what he thinks.
This is what he thinks. This is all he knows right now.
A little shithead 8-year-old kid.
That's right. Yep. Mm-hmm.
I wrote down. I mean, he's dressed up like, early '90s hip hop style.
Yeah, it like reminds me of somebody. The hair reminds me of somebody. Is it like is it the boxing guy? I'm trying to think of like the not the boxer, but like the boxer's agent that has that hair.
Don King has big spiky hair.
Oh no, he's got spiky hair.
Flat top was a trend in the late 80s, like early 90s. Like the Wayans, I think, had it.
Okay.
The kid from Stranger Things, I think, has it in one of those seasons because.
Oh, I think you're right.
They're doing that. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I'm just picturing the hair then.
Yeah, definitely. So Kenny gets dragged by the go-kart because it finally takes off, and he gets dragged around, but he's okay. And then he gets hit by a train.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
And then train.
Yes. Train.
Lovely.
I didn't think. How'd you feel about this kill?
It was fine. There wasn't like a lot to it. I thought it was fine. I liked the other one where it was like a little bit more of a subvert the expectation. That was great.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this one was just kind of like, yeah, that's kind of what I expected.
Yeah. I mean, you
something
see
had
it coming
to hit
a mile
him.
away.
Something had to happen, yeah.
I didn't think it was as good as some of the other ones we've seen in the season.
Sure.
Oh, Cartman, instead of just saying, because he was kicking it with some homies on the West Side, so he keeps saying West Side, which I remember becoming part of Cartman's, like, when they would, like, show commercials. probably still to this day, they'll show
yeah.
Cartman going, West Side.
Does he do it in later episodes, or literally just this one?
I don't know.
I'm curious now.
Yeah, there's a good chance he does. But, I mean, obviously, they get it from this one. And it is. Like, it would always be in promotions of, like, South Park on Comedy Central, Wednesdays, West Side. Like, that was always the thing. He explains why he's dressed like that.
Oh, yeah.
And he explains why he's dressed like that to Chef.
Yeah, first off, Chef's like pulls him inside, is like, take that damn thing off, and like.
Oh yeah, he pulls
because
the flat top hair is a wig.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then he explains it.
Yeah.
Like,
so
well...
Chef can't quite remember, but
which makes him go, "Wait, am I your dad?" Like he does kind of have that moment for a second.
Yeah, because he's like, I don't quite remember, and he's like, well, Chief Running Water saw you with tongue kissing my mom, and he's like, oh well, you don't,
that's not how that works.
Yeah, with tongue kissing. So he sings a song to Cartman to explain it. He sings a song about we're going and we're gonna get hot, and then she says, hold on a minute, I gotta go to the bathroom, and you wait 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 and you wait. I liked this little
I like how
nudity.
He's literally speaking about like a specific time for himself. I feel like it's not even like an every time. It's just like, this is a very specific story, but it's
on his brain. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So Cartman interrupts him so that Chef can actually tell him the story. So they were again in the hay, and this time there you are. It's the AFC champion Denver Broncos showed up.
So a little
and
bit
she's
different.
looking at all of them as
a
players.
group, not even just like one of the football players. It's just like them as a group.
Yes.
Yes.
Which I guess means that she had group sex with several of the.
My assumption as well. Yeah. It's Yep.
She starts feeling something. Something's going on underneath that hay.
Yes.
And Chef is like,
literally
damn,
something
woman.
is going on underneath that hay.
Right. Yeah. Because Chef is like, what is with you? Like, I haven't even done anything yet. And what you find out is that Mr. Hat was doing something underneath the hay, because Garrison pops up.
Yes.
Brown-haired Garrison, looking youthful.
Yes. Yeah. Youthful Garrison over here.
So Chef is like, God damn it, Garrison. Like, what are you doing in here? And Cartman's mom is like, oh, come on, Chef. Haven't you ever heard of I think she doesn't say menage a trois right, but she implies, like, let's have a threesome.
Come on, Chef. Haven't you heard of a manage o' three?
Yeah, a manage o' three. Okay. So, yeah, same idea.
A manage o' three. A menage a trois.
Chef is like, yeah, with two women involved, and he doesn't want to be a part of the threesome. And Garrison gets mad because it's Garrison.
It's Garrison.
So he was looking for a threesome with her and Chef.
That gets explained later. I think they all know at this point, except for Mr. Garrison. He's the only one who doesn't know.
Mr. Garrison is the only one that doesn't know. That's right. Or won't accept it, I guess is what should be
I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah. Well, because he is like a self-hating gay man at points.
Yes.
Self-hating woman.
He's a self-hating
lesbian.
He's a self-hating hater.
Yeah. Yeah.
There we go.
Cartman is angered by this because he believes now that means that his dad is Mr. Garrison.
I mean, that would be horrifying, honestly. Would you really want Mr. Garrison as a dad?
Yeah.
No.
No,
you don't.
So they end up airing the video on America's Funniest Home or America's Stupidest Home Videos, and Bob Saget says, "Here's a video of a very disturbed little boy," and the crowd thinks the video is hilarious. So Kyle and Stan are pretty confident that they're going to win that $10,000.
They're very confident now.
Cartman confronts Mr. Garrison, and Jimbo says that it's not possible because he's gay.
Right. He's like, well, that's not possible. He's gay. He doesn't even say it like meanly. He's just like, well.
I mean, yes, Jimbo, of course, is.
Oh, yeah. He's probably homophobic and everything.
Homophobic.
But at this point, the way he says it, it just sounds like, yeah, he's gay. Like.
Well, even like earlier in the season, Chef was like, "Aren't you gay, Mr. Garrison?" I can't remember what season it takes for Mr. Garrison to accept that he's gay. I cannot remember.
I don't know.
Garrison is like, "All right, no. Who here did not make love to Leanne Cartman at the Drunken Barn Dance?" And they go to a bunch of different tables, and everybody's kind of looking at each other, including Principal Victoria and the mayor.
Yes.
And Jesus
also
and
including.
Jesus and Mr. Mackey included.
And a priest, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, or Father Maxey.
Father Mackey, yeah.
Yeah, I said Mr. Mackey instead of Father
You did.
Maxey. Yeah.
I got confused.
Those names are way too close.
They are.
So Garrison's like, anyone can be your dad. And Jimbo consoles Cartman about this, and he says, like, look, I didn't know my father. And he's like, well, I mean, other than, like, I knew him, and we went on camping trips, and we had a lot of fun and stuff. But he's like, but, you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
It's like, no, I don't.
As he walks away, Mephisto says that he could do a DNA test with the whole town to determine who Cartman's dad is. It'll cost money, and it'll cost $3,000 to do it. And Cartman's like, I don't have $3,000. And he's like, oh, never mind. And
then they all just go back to their thing.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. Well, I guess that's the end of that one.
Yeah, that's the end of that. I would have kind of loved if that was just the end of the episode.
Yes. It just stops right
just goes,
there.
And like, that's...
It could have done
ends
that.
on a total downer. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Cartman is sad because he wanted to find out who his dad is, but he can't. And he actually seems very sad as he goes to the bus stop. He's like, that's okay, you guys. And he's like, I'm just going to go back into my backyard for a while. So he's going to just go back to do the play with Polly Prissy Pants.
Sad.
They tell Cartman they have a video that they submitted, and they can give him a share of the money that he needs if they win. Because they're just planning to buy another go-kart and a Walkman anyway. They're not really planning on buying anything.
Yeah, it shouldn't take that much money. So they're just like, well, you can have the $3,000, especially since it's, well, I mean, they don't tell him this, but especially since they're doing this with the video of him.
You can tell they're nervous about that, though. They are nervous about the fact that
absolutely. They should be.
And they're nervous about him seeing it. It comes down... The video comes down to hat on master's head. Oh, look at me. I'm a funny little dog, and I'm going to put my hat on my master's head. That was like what Bob Saget would do with like the voiceover, too. It was pretty accurate.
Yeah, it's a little cringy. Just very cringy.
And Little Boy Tea Party. And Cartman, I love this. The way that Cartman just keeps getting more and more angry, and his face keeps getting redder, and he's just going to be going, kill you guys. I'm gonna kill you guys. He's like shaking. He's so pissed off. He is. And the third contestant is Kenny being hit by a train. I do like the little sound effect that they put in when the train hits him. That would like
yes.
That was very funny.
Oh, I'm such a cute little kid. I wonder if I can get this go-kart started. I hope I don't get hit by a train. Oh, I sure did.
And of course, the winner is Little Boy being hit by a train, and it's Stan's grandpa that submitted it.
Yes.
So he won the $10,000. They do get $3,000 for the runner-up. Yeah,
yes,
they do. That was what happens. Yeah, on America's Homeless Videos. So they do get the $3,000.
Right, and they're like, you can have it here.
Yeah, just take it. Please don't kill us.
Don't kill us.
Doing this. Cartman's all red in the face. He tells the boys he's gonna fucking kill them. I think he says fucking kill them, because I think they bleep out a fuck. They go to Mephisto's. And Mephisto has narrowed down the father to the
everybody
people
in this room.
That includes Bar Brady, Chef, Chief Running Water, Jimbo, Ned, Gerald Broflovsky. So
oh my God,
Kyle's dad.
They could be brothers.
Himself, his friend Kevin, the little thing,
the little clone.
Yeah, the mini-me clone thing.
Yeah, I always thought he was like a mini-me clone.
I saw a thing that said that if you look at Kyle's face when he realizes his dad is there, that he's got like a shocked look on his face.
Yes.
I didn't. Does he? Because I didn't go back
I
to
swore he was shocked, because then even later, like when they go through the names, he goes, "Dad, how could you?"
Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, the 1989 Denver Broncos.
The entire team. The entire team is the dad. They all share DNA.
And then he opens the envelope and he says, I know who the father is. The father is... Doo-doot. Doo-doo-doo-doot. Doo-doo-doo-doot. So what happens is they go... we should have left it silence for like 30 seconds.
You can still do that.
I suppose I still could, yeah.
The father is... Who is Eric Cartman's father? Is it Chief Running Water? Or is it Chef? Is it Mephisto? Or that little monkey guy that follows him around? Or is it Mr. Garrison?
No, he's gay.
You go to hell! You go to hell and you die! Is it Jimbo?
Ah!
Or is it Officer Barbrady?
Huh? Where?
Or could it be Ned?
Could be.
Or Mr. Broflovsky?
Dad, how could you?
Or is it the 1991 Denver Broncos? The answer is coming on an all-new South Park in just 4 weeks.
What? Son of a bitch!
Find out in 4 weeks or 6 weeks or whenever.
Yeah,
like,
it was
the
like
next
only
episode
4
is.
weeks, which actually wasn't too far away.
No. Like it would be like a normal television show, even at this time, especially in the late 90s. They would have had to wait like 3 months.
Yeah, or
like,
a
Who
year.
Shot Mr. Burns happened like from May to September. Like you'd have to at least wait a little while. It's not that long to have to wait.
Absolutely.
But Cartman can't take it though, and he goes, "God damn it!" And that's the end of the show. So that is the end of Cartman's mom is a dirty
Slut.
Yes.
I like
Rachel,
how you
what
just
did
keep
think?
making me say it. It's great.
Rachel, what did you think about this episode?
I liked this one. I thought
Yeah.
I feel like it has a little bit of like an interest to it. Like I like that Cartman it's getting a bit more like a rounded character. Has a bit of a personality and a crisis, which is kind of fun. I don't know. I thought this one was kind of interesting. Like I said, you were talking about earlier with Kenny's death. That was kind of lackluster. I don't know how they would have done a death otherwise though in this one, because it was a little less so, unless like they were actually in the America's Funniest or Stupidest Videos, and then something happened to them there. And then they were like, oh, wait, that's the best video. Yeah, and they just give them the win because they recorded it. So, I mean, like, that was a little lackluster. But I like that it was, like, on a cliffhanger, and it's kind of silly, and we don't know who it is, and yeah. So, I don't know. This one was okay. Yeah.
I agree. It's a fine little episode. It's more plot-heavy than joke-heavy.
Yes.
Actually.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a little more, and it is a little more character development. I mean, at this point, I would assume, I don't think that it was like Bart fever, but Cartman was the, beefcake and all that stuff. So there was interest in his character. So like they're fleshing out a little bit of like why he acts the way he does or what he wants and stuff like that. So
yeah, of course.
Yeah, for me, it's a fun little episode. I saw on the internet a lot people ranking this like one of the top episodes of all time and the best of season 1 and stuff, and we're about to say what we think, but I don't think that's
rankings.
true. I don't think that's true.
I don't know if it's like the top, but I hate doing rankings. It's so difficult to do rankings.
So Rachel, it has come to that time. We have done it.
It
took a while. We spread it out much better than we did doing all 13 episodes of The Simpsons, so we didn't get over.
I was exhausted.
Overkill. But we have finally done it. We have come to the end of South Park Season 1, which means that and folks at home, if this is the first time that you're listening to one of the TV Shelf Life episodes where we cover a TV season, this is our 4th television show that we've kind of gotten through. We did The Simpsons Season 1, we did Seinfeld Season 1, we did The Office Season 1, where we got through all the episodes of Season 1 of those.
That's true, because we haven't gotten through the Twilight Zone yet, so we can't even talk about that one yet. Yeah.
Well, but Twilight Zone's different because we say whether or not the individual episode has shelf life because it's anthology.
That's true.
So it's a little different. But those are the 4 continuous sitcom shows that we do. What we'll do is we're going to say whether or not we believe that Season 1 of South Park has shelf life. But because, it can be fun, people like to see rankings of things. People like to kind of see... They do.
I'm so bad at it.
They
I
do.
know.
Rachel
I know
hates
they
rankings.
Do. I don't like doing it. I don't mind looking at other people's rankings too. It's very interesting. You kind of go, oh, okay, this is what I would think. Like, I wouldn't put that there, blah, blah, blah. But having to do it on your own sucks. Like, I question everything, and then I constantly am changing it, and then I don't even know if it's true.
That's what I was going to say. I believe rankings are very fluid. I could change these at the drop of a hat. It depends on the mood I'm in. Sometimes it depends on the season that we're in.
That's true.
Like, it just depends. So these are fluid, but in general, the top's the top, the bottom's the bottom, and stuff could always flip around a little bit. And I'm going to say that as I go through my rankings anyway. So, Rachel, I think what we'll do first is we'll do rankings, bottom to top.
Okay.
And then we'll say if there's any individual episodes that have shelf life just standalone, like if the folks at home want to just go find that episode in particular and put that episode on their shelf, and then whether or not the season as a whole has shelf life, because that's the name of our show, and that's what we do.
Okay.
So do you want to do I will defer to the ladies first rule of, do you want to do your rankings first? Otherwise I am prepared to go.
No, I can do my rankings. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if I have like a lot of explanation for anything.
No, you don't
so you
need
guys
to.
Just get to have the numbers and enjoy.
You
it
can
and
go back and
figure
listen
it out.
to all of our. There's time codes on every episode.
That's true.
Roll back 20 seconds on the time code. Listen to what Rachel said about that episode and move on.
Did I actually say I hated that episode and put it in and like number 3?
Yeah,
find
tell
out.
us that we're hypocrites.
I wonder
or
if
wrong
I am
or
a
whatever.
hypocrite. No idea.
Yeah, we don't fucking remember. You people understand how many hours we do this? I don't remember a fucking thing I say most of the time.
It's great. It's great. Okay.
So please go re-listen to it and tell us that we had our ranking wrong.
Yeah, I'd love to hear it. Tell me what you think my ranking was from how I responded to each episode.
Yeah, I want to know what you think. I want to know. I want you to put in the comments what you think what your rankings are.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. I would love to see your rankings and then go,
Rach?
yeah, yours is way better than mine, because that's probably exactly what I would do. I put in at number 13 Tom's Rhinoplasty. Just something about it. 12 goes to Cartman gets an anal probe. Not their strongest, obviously the first. 11, Volcano. 10, Mechastreisand. It's fine. It was entertaining, but,
It's fine. That's fine.
Number 9, an elephant makes love to a pig. It was bizarre. Number 8.
It was bizarre.
I don't have anything else to say. Number 8, Cartman's mom is a dirty slut.
Okay.
Number 7, weight gain 4,000. Actually, I'm wondering if I would actually flip-flop those now. All of a sudden in my head, I flip-flopped it.
Okay, we'll flip-flop it.
Yeah, I'm going to flip-flop it.
Okay, so Cartman's mom is a slut is 7, and weight gain 4,000 is
So number 8 is weight gain 4,000.
Okay.
Number 7, I don't even know if I feel like I'm ranking that one too high now. In my head, all of a sudden, I'm like, that feels too high.
Weight gain?
Yeah.
Would you put it above or below elephant?
Oh, I feel like it has to be below elephant. Shit. Okay, this is what I'm talking about.
Rachel
this is
spent
what I'm talking about.
like an entire day trying to figure this out.
I hate everything so much.
Okay, what's your revised rankings now?
Now I feel like it. No. Hold on, I'm fixing it.
Hang on.
I'm fixing
Hang
it.
on, folks. We're starting over.
Wait. Yes. Where the hell am I supposed to start now? Number 10. Weight gain 4,000.
10.
Number 9.
Number 9.
Mechastreisand. Mechastreisand.
Yes. Okay.
Number 8. An elephant makes love to a pig. That's where I think it's bizarre, but Cartman's mom is a dirty slut at number 7. Number 6, Damien. Number 5, Death. Number 4, Starvin' Marvin. Number 3, Mr. Hanky the Christmas Poo. I know everybody's probably like, oh my god, I can't believe you put it up that high, but look, I had to. Number 2, Big Gay Al's Big Gay Boat Ride. And then number 1, Pink Eye.
Okay.
That's my rankings that I still question to this moment.
Your revision made it a little more in line with mine. We still have some differences that we can discuss. Of these episodes, any that individually have shelf life that you would just go back to and watch the episodes individually?
I feel like Pink Eye, because, Halloweenish, and it just feels like you have to. I feel like this is why Mr. Hanky is up there. It's a Christmas episode. It feels like a Christmas thing that you'd go and rewatch. I know we used to do that all the time. We'd go and watch all of the Christmas episodes of South Park. So it feels like it has to be up there.
They do Christmas all the time, yeah.
But I guess if you look at mine, it's probably the top 6 or 7.
Yeah.
I would think.
Yeah. Okay. I think it's fair. I think it's right.
Even
because I could see
maybe.
You could see
maybe because it's bizarre.
Yeah. I could definitely see your top 7.
But you start going down and just kind of 9 is fine because it's it was fun to watch, which is Mechastreisand. It was fun to watch. It got a little, I don't know. There was something about it that kind of maybe I was in the weird mindset watching it, but
yeah.
Talking about it was fun. So,
but a fair amount have individual shelf
I would
life.
say yes.
Yeah.
The majority.
Yeah. Which is why Rachel's saying the season 1 does not have shelf life.
This. Yeah, season 1 doesn't. Oh my god, no.
All right, so my rankings go as Thrustly. At 13, I have Cartman gets an anal probe. I think it was trying too hard. It's a little crude to actually watch, but it's not bad or anything. It's just it's a little crude. It's just the worst. It is formed well. As a pilot, it is South Park. It gives you what South Park is, so I will definitely give it that. Number 12 is Weight Gain 4000. It's a little better, but again, it's kind of a nothing kind of there episode. It's got beefcake in it, but other than that, it doesn't need to really be revisited. Number 11 is Tom's Rhinoplasty. It's better than I remember it. I remember really disliking that episode as a kid. And I know that for some reason people have it as their top episode. To me, it was not that great. It was only okay. Rachel had it ranked last, so obviously she agreed with me. Number 10, I have An Elephant Makes Love to a Pig. Number 9, I have Death. Number 8 is Volcano. 7, I have Mechastreisand. I like Mechastreisand. I think it's a fun episode. I think I like the Japanese man doing the voiceover. I like the battles and the weird kooky mythology they came up with and all that kind of
Honestly,
junk.
that's why mine could change and go higher, because it's kind of after talking about it, it made me go, oh yeah, it was a little bit more fun than I thought, at first. Because for some reason I just thought, this is weird. I don't understand what the hell's going on. I don't know why. And then once we talked about it, I'm like, oh no, this actually was kind of fun. So I agree.
Number 6, I have Cartman's mom as a dirty slut. Again, I think it's fine. I think it's fun, like I was saying. Number 5 is Big Al's Big A Boat Ride. Number 4 is Damien. I remember liking Damien as a kid. As an adult, I was like, oh, it's a little simpler than I thought. And then after we had our discussion on it, I was like, oh no, it is actually pretty good. The discussion actually bumped that one up for me, I think.
Yeah.
Number 3, I have Starvin' Marvin. Because that one was better than I remember too.
There's something ridiculous about it. And
there's just something...
Seeing little Marvin act like Cartman is hilarious.
Yeah. Now, my 1 and 2 can be flipped depending on the time of year, I feel like. And I really... They're kind of 1A, 1B for me. I have it like this, so I'll say it like this. Number 2, I have Pink Eye. Number 1, I have Mr. Hanky the Christmas Poo.
Of course you do.
Those could easily flip for me. I like the music in Mr. Hanky, and it's a very solid premise and everything. But Pink Eye is just a lot of fun.
I just like watching Pink Eye.
And
I like watching Pink Eye.
Rewatch it for Halloween, I think. So it's tough. Because I do kind of think maybe Pink Eye holds a more special place in my heart, but it's tough. And I think I'm right with you, Rachel. I think the top 7, I would go back to. Maybe even top 8 with Volcano.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ones below that have their moments, but I'm not seeking them out.
Sure.
So yeah, we're pretty well close. We don't match up on any of them 1 for 1, but we're
that's weird. I still feel I keep pushing Weight Gain down. I feel like Weight Gain has to go under Volcano now in my head. And I'm sorry. I won't change it. I'll keep it.
I mean, you can change it, Rachel. You can revise this.
I keep wanting to push weight gain down. Like, the more I think about weight gain, I'm like, why did I put it up so high? What's wrong with me? I don't know if I remembered what it was until, like, the second I switched it.
I switched.
I put it down to 11 now. Volcano's up at 10. That feels better. That feels way better.
So, like, what is the overall ranking then? So it would, if we averaged out our ranking, it would go Cartman gets an anal probe, Tom's rhinoplasty, weight gain 4,000, Volcano, and Elephant Light makes love to a pig are tied, Mechastreisand, Death, Damien.
No, you've missed Cartman's mom, then Damien.
Yeah. Cartman's mom, Death, Cartman's mom, then Damien, then Big AL and Starvin' Marvin are tied, and then Mr. Hanky the Christmas Poo, and then Pink Eye. That's actually a fairly solid list if you look at our average, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that's not bad. That's not bad.
Our biggest discrepancies are Death, which is a 4-spot difference.
Yeah.
Which I think is just personal preference. I don't know if there's even anything to really debate there. We both have them in the middle. I just thought it was drier, but it does have all the poop jokes in it.
I like having Grimm in it. And I think that it was about Kenny. I don't know. There was just something about it. I like when it's like about like the character gets some development. So
sure, Big Al, I know you love. You just
it's
like
so
it more than I
hard
do.
Not to. It's funny.
Yeah, no, it's just you just like it more than I do. That's why it's ranked higher. Okay, so that's our rankings. Feel free to tell us why we're right or wrong, and it doesn't matter because this is Shelf Life. We are right.
That's right.
We're the source of truth. The only source of truth. So, Rachel, does season 1 of South Park have shelf life?
None at all. I mean, yes.
I obviously, if over half the season, you're like, yeah, I'll go back and watch those. Those could be on the shelf.
Yeah, obviously, it's gonna be on the shelf. It has to be on the shelf. It's just goofy, silly, weird stuff, and it's entertaining.
Anything that you got out of our rewatch here for the show that you didn't remember or that you appreciated or that pushed you into giving it shelf life?
I'm trying to think of what to say.
You can just say, no, it's silly and fun and I enjoy this.
I mean, that's true, though. It is very silly. It's very fun. There were a couple episodes I don't remember, like, at all, which was, like, Damien and I think Mechastreisand. I'm like, I don't remember these at all. Some of the other ones I had, like
some of them they show every year, and
Yeah. And so it was kind of fun just getting to revisit it and see all the goofy crap that I watched as a kid.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. I mean, I own the DVD, so of course it is on my shelf. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I own shit that I don't need. But yes, this season one of South Park has shelf life. I think that's been determined here. This more so than, excluding Twilight Zone, of the seasons of television that we've done, is the show. Like, yes, South Park evolves over the next 20 years after this season.
Oh, yeah.
But it's very fully formed very quickly. Mm-hmm. And they understand what this show is. There's a vision for it. It is funny. It's entertaining. It's a lot of fun. I very much enjoy South Park, regardless of, they do both sides or whatever, kind of crap you want to say. It's a fun show. So, and it's a thoughtful show, and it has fun characters.
It is thoughtful. I do like that part. Some of the episodes are going to be awful and trash.
Some of the episodes are awful.
Just gross.
No, absolutely.
That happens. But a lot of it's very thoughtful and actually has like something behind it.
It's one of my favorite shows. I'm not going to rank television shows, but I mean, it's there with Simpsons and Seinfeld for me. And Simpsons, like I might have said this when we first started doing South Park. For me, like the Simpsons has the highest of highs, and it just never didn't stop when it should have, and now it has the lowest of lows.
And it's absolutely awful.
South Park, I think, has clunkers of episodes because they have bad ideas that they just kept running with because they thought they were funny, and then it was just stupid. But it never got. I don't think it even still is at the point where it's like everything you're watching with it is unwatchable.
Right. And there's been a lot of shows where it gets to that point and I get really sad because it's like I used to like this show and then it just goes to I can't watch it at all.
Yeah.
And that just it's kind of sad. Like I don't like watch it all the time, the new South Parks, but I have seen some,
Yeah,
and I still enjoy it. Like I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I saw that episode. Like,
yeah. I mean, these are classic. There's obviously some nostalgia there, but they're good. They're very good. They're still classic episodes to watch. So yes, we have finally gotten out of that mountain. We are down at the bottom of the hill. We can finally leave that quiet mountain town of South Park, at least for the first season. But I'm sure we will come back one day to find out who Cartman's dad is. So, with that being said, cross it off the list. South Park Season 1. It has shelf life. I have been Kevin.
And I'm Rachel.
This is so fun!
We're Saeed.